Dr. Sani for the general introduction. So insyaAllah pagi ni saya cuba kongsilah sedikit tentang etik and integrity in academic supervision and thesis examination. Okay, first of all, of course saya rasa most of us kita dah ada banyak student, kita ada banyak supervision yang kita buat at various level. Kita ada at diploma, as a training ground, kita ada at degree level, and then kita upgrade to postgraduate level, master level, PhD level. And then kita tanya kenapa over and over perlu ada kursus-kursus seumpama ni dijalankan. Sebenarnya one of the reason is sebagai reminder lah, sebab kita ni as a human being, al-insan, ini according to the Holy Quran ada 3 surah yang menjelaskan secara terperinci al-insan, manusia ni as a human nature yang being forgetful. Maksudnya kita ni al-insan datang daripada perkataan nasiyah, iaitu pelupa, yang sentiasa lupa. Jadi dalam fitrah manusia yang sering lupa ni, atau tempat yang dilupakan, kita perlu sentiasa diingatkan. Jadi kadang-kadang orang tanya kenapa saya lupa, tapi kadang-kadang ada hikmah di sebalik lupa tu kan. Tapi oleh kerana kita sentiasa dalam urusan kita postgraduate supervision ni, kadang-kadang kita pun terlupa juga. Jadi sentiasa perlu diperingatkan. Saya pun sendiri kadang lupa, dan sebagai sahabat, sebagai colleague, sebagai friends to all the fellow researcher, kadang-kadang kita kena sentiasa ingat memperingati antara satu sama lain. So one of the other reason this course is needed atas syarat MQA program standard since 2021, starting from March, under section 4.17 supervisor requirement in page 18, all universities are required to have a training program which should be designed to explain and explicate the role, responsibility and expectation, so align with the policy and role of the HEP is the university lah, and interpersonal challenge in dealing with personal, cultural, academic and intellectual issues. These are basically the qualification. I think most of us are aware ada requirement to become supervisor, ada syarat-syarat yang ditentukan. However, syarat ni saya difahamkan ada sedikit kelonggaran yang diberi pada masa ni. And then kita kadang-kadang dalam kita supervise student ni, kita tak pernah diajar macam mana nak supervise. The factors that influence our postgraduate supervision style selalunya depend on kita punya own, sama ada master atau PhD punya experience. Supervisor kita buat macam mana dia treat kita, macam tu lah kita punya learning curve-nya. Kalau bad supervision yang kita dapat, maka bad lah yang jadi example. If a good experience yang become something yang kita experience, then a good supervision lah yang kita akan dapat. Jadi the structured course is intended to become satu sharing punya platform lah. And then depend also on supervisor punya background. Kalau supervisor tu jenis macam Hitler, jadi Hitler lah dia. Jadi kalau working experience, industry, nature of industry also kadang mempengaruhi the supervision punya style. And then matching supervisor and student expectation, those are some of the element yang kita kena be alert of. And then financial support, some financial support from research grant scheme, My Brain, Zamala dan sebagainya. And also we have regional and cultural punya influence from America, British, European, Japanese, Australian, and also Malaysian. Don't forget Malaysian, we are one Malaysia. And nature of the university, kalau you duduk dekat research university, lain sikit culture-nya. Dekat MCUN ni bukan MCUN yang jual jamu tu kan. MCUN ni Malaysian Conventional University. Jadi kalau di conventional, jadi banyak background yang berbeza. And kita daripada MTUN, Technical University, and also IPKS. And then also the industry and other collaboration. Those are some of the other factors that influence cara supervision kita lah. And secara terperinci MQA program standard in page 16 dia kata the education provider, higher education provider HEP must establish guideline delineating role and responsibility of supervisors, prescribing ethical principle to enhance the emphasis on the ethical principle to assist supervisor and resolution of ethical issues. Ni later throughout this session saya akan share sedikit lah some of the issue that we found. And ensuring supervisor conduct all activity with academic integrity, compliant with code of conduct, relevant laws, rule and regulation. And also dia juga spell out maximum ratio of candidates. Yang ni satu isu yang kadang-kadang jadi some isu yang didebatkan lah di UTeM ni dan juga some of the university. Kenapa dia perlu dihadkan supervision. This is according to the MQA, program standard. Bukan kita suka-suka nak buat. Ada maximum ratio of candidates to supervisor, taking into account the total responsibility of supervisors, the need of a candidate, guided by applicable program standard and good practices. Okay. So these are some of the shared best practices from the Malaysian Postgraduate Dean Council and DPS. Ada quarterly meeting dengan EMGS. EMGS is the Education Malaysia, JPT, KPT, JIM bukan Jemaah Islamiah, JIM Jabatan Immigration Malaysia, MQA, and then juga wakil-wakil daripada IPTS and also associate member from some other universities, stakeholder. And untuk sinopsis untuk this topic, basically postgraduate research supervision examination require clear and consistent ethical principle and practice according to the MQA tadi. The course will discuss important of ethic and issue related to supervision process and thesis examination. Sorry, while saya share all this content, kalau ada some question or anything you want to stop me, just you can use the chat box as well. Saya akan from time to time check chat box, then kita boleh stop me kalau ada any element yang you rasa tak berapa clear, you all need some clarification, feel free to stop me or just write in the chat box, and Dr. Sani pun boleh assist saya moderator. Okay, thank you. So the content basically we talk about the definition, of course, ethic and integrity, requirement of ethic and supervision, and thesis examiner, not only as a supervisor, then later kita akan leave to student, and also the examiners, and also the supervisor punya ethic, role also responsibility of supervisor, co-supervisor, and sometimes we call team supervisor, and appointment of supervisor according to the regulation, selection of during supervision, change of supervisor, joint supervision. Okay. And then kita talk about thesis examination ethics. Ini semasa penilaian lah. Suitability of the field expertise for the thesis examination panel. Ada internal, ada external. And also the role of chairman, also examiners. Okay, so at the end of the course, hopefully, insyaAllah, kita will, all participants to be able to understand the ethic. Ini the most emphasis lah. Ethic and integrity of supervisor, co-supervisor, team supervisory, and also the student, and also understand the ethic and integrity in thesis examination panel. Okay, so we start from the very basic, from the definition of ethic from Cambridge Dictionary, defined as the study of what is morally right and wrong, or set of belief of what is morally right and wrong. Okay. So from Thesis, kita boleh di also call as moral belief, integrity, conscious, principle, sense of right and wrong, and accountability. Ini kalau kita ambil nombor 5, sense of right and wrong. So kalau dalam Islam, sense of right and wrong ni sebenarnya ada satu term dipanggil mumayyiz. Ni kalau orang kata dulu budak-budak sekolah, mumayyiz. Kalau dia dah mumayyiz, maksudnya dia boleh bezakan antara betul atau salah. Tapi itu biasanya dalam sekolah, kita kata kat sekolah, biasa sekolah rendah lah, boleh beza kan. Tapi kadang-kadang, some people umur 40, tapi perangai macam budak-budak lagi kan. Jadi, the sense to differentiate what is right and wrong ni kadang-kadang also subjektif juga. But some people think it is right. Jadi, maksudnya, the term mumayyiz tu kadang-kadang pun jadi questionable lah. Kita tak boleh simply judge by age, by experience. So from Wikipedia, kalau kita talk about ethics is or moral principles. Ethic from Wikipedia, ethic or moral philosophy is a branch of philosophy that involves systemizing, defending and recommending concept of right and wrong behavior. Tak jauh beza jugalah dengan konsep kita kata mumayyiz kan. Ethics seeks to resolve question of human morality by defining concept such as good and evil, right and wrong, virtue and vice, justice and crime. And as a field of intellectual inquiry, moral philosophy is related to the field of moral psychology, descriptive ethic and value theory. So ini some of the keyword lah yang kita guna kalau kita cakap ethic apa. What does ethic means to us? Ethics is integrity, value, moral, principle, honesty. Very strong word. Honesty, right, fairness, responsibility. Also very strong word. Conscious, choice and honor. So these are some of the terms yang kita boleh guna, terminology. So what is academic integrity? Okay, ini when we join academic world, then we talk about academic integrity. What are the features of academic and research integrity? Kita kena faham juga lah kenapa academic integrity is there. What is it? And what is considered as features of academic and research integrity? And then the second question is why? Why is important? Why the academic integrity is important? Next one, how can we teach? How can we share with the teacher, researcher, administrator, student and researcher, all the academic world on upholding academic integrity in education and research. Okay. So another definition, this is from Latin word. Integrity start from word, the root word is integer. Kalau kita belajar matematik, integer is a number. Ataupun kita kata a whole, intact, a person integrity, like a whole number. Is a whole person or a person somehow undivided. The word convey the serenity of a person who is confident in the knowledge that he or she is living rightly. A person of integrity lurks somewhere inside each of us. Maksudnya dalam diri kita memang ada sifat untuk sama ada nak buat right or wrong, ada dalam diri kita. And kita ada judge whether we are doing right or wrong. It's up to us. A person we feel we can trust to do the right, play by the rules, to keep the commitment. So this is according to Carter 1996. Okay. And then academic integrity also can be defined as the moral code of ethical policy of academia. Ini popularized by Don McCabe from Rutgers University, atau called also named as the grandfather of academic integrity. Tak tahulah ini dia punya ni. Padahal dalam konsep Islam pun ada mumayyiz sudah lama dah. Rasulullah ajar kita apa maksud. What is doing right, what is doing wrong. It means upholding the academic honesty policy of your university or school, doing your own work, doing your own project, take home exam, online exam, research, writing your own essay, writing your own thesis or research paper or teaching material, and properly citing your sources. Taking online quiz without looking into the keyword, without looking at your notes from books. Siapa yang familiar dengan American punya examination system, kalau exam ataupun test dalam kelas, kita kadang takut-takut dulu as a Malaysian student, first time sampai kat US, takut-takut ambil exam, tengok Mak Salim, saya buka buku. Sometimes memang dia punya test is open book. So dalam exam, bila lah kita tanya, profesor kata memang boleh. Tapi kalau dalam online quiz yang without looking, ada masa dia cakap ni close book, dia beritahu kita ni close book punya exam, maksudnya you are not allowed to look at any of your notes. But some exam dia kata you are allowed to bring one of your own notes, one sheet of your own notes, satu line A4, so you bawa lah. Jadi itu rule lah, set of rule yang diberi. Kalau dia kata itu dia limit, that's the limit. And also integrity also involve reporting someone that you suspect has cheated on exam. Yang ni is bit difficult to do lah. Kalau kita tak integrity, kita nampak kawan kita meniru, kita report pada ni. Kat sini, dekat culture Malaysia kita ni, culture Asian culture lah. Kita report ni kita lah jadi bad person lah. Jadi whistleblower tu orang beritahu ni. One of the other the important word is being honest in all form, whether as an educator, student or researcher. Integrity ni kadang-kadang yalah macam student kita dalam exam hall kata ada fully monitored by CCTV camera, baru dia takut. Sebenarnya dalam konsep Islam pun sebenarnya kita dah diajar sebenarnya the God Allah is looking at us at all the time, tak kira you duduk kat mana. Jadi integrity have something to it when you reflect to religion. Sebenarnya kita diajar tak kira you duduk kat mana, you duduk kat celah mana, you duduk kat bilik tebal mana, you are always, Allah is monitoring you. Jadi itu also is a concept of integrity. So this is also one of the sample I got from University of Wollongong, Australia. Dia ada sample of academic integrity declaration. Maksudnya those yang dekat this university, I think some of you maybe study at this university. Dia ada 8 principle of underpin of academic integrity policy. Dia kena buat declaration. In the declaration, section 4, dia kata academic integrity is a fundamental to learning, teaching and research at university. Maksudnya dia buat macam aku janjilah. Maksudnya you buat declare you akan fundamental involve ongoing fostering complex network of strategies and responsibility across university community. Ini dia educatekan secara systematic lah di universiti. Kita pun di UTeM kita tak ada academic integrity punya declaration, but however kita ada declaration conflict of interest which can be applied as well. Banyak tempat. The university is committed providing educational approach to academic integrity, recognizing the student need to be supported to develop and demonstrate academic skill. Kalau dalam learning curve student ni, student postgraduate, adult or mature student, they need to be supported. Kadang-kadang dia ada most of the time they face difficulty, kita tak boleh biarkan. It's our responsibility as educator ataupun academia to support the student needs. Academic integrity allow the student and staff the freedom to build new idea, knowledge and creative work. However, jangan lupa while respecting and acknowledging the work of others. Kita boleh refer pada, that's why ada dalam postgraduate thesis tu kita ada literature review. Literature review tu kita baca orang lain punya work, how they do it, how they perform certain tasks, how they validate. However, don't forget to acknowledge their work. The university will respond to academic misconduct in a fair, consistent, transparent and timely manner. Ini part of the university punya enforcement punya system. University will ensure the record of investigation are kept secure and confidential in accordance to the privacy policy and record management policy. Okay. University also will ensure continuous cycle of CQI, cycle of quality improvement. To monitor occurrence nature of instance of academic misconduct, take action to address underlying causes. University will take steps to ensure academic integrity is maintained in arrangement with any collaborative partner. So ini dia punya declaration. Ini some of the news cutting from the newspaper, the New York Times. New York Times dekat New York, Harvard University. Harvard is in Mass in US. Say 125 students may have cheated on final exam. Ni Harvard cakap. Harvard punya management. And from the Guardian, kata university urged to block essay mill site in plagiarism crackdown. Ada pula orang yang take advantage, dia create business, dia buat essay mill punya website. Ini era of digital transformation ni ada banyak, ada good and bad. It's up to us to judge which one is good, which one is bad. Tapi adakah our student capable to differentiate? Adakah they mumayyiz enough lah in a way to differentiate which one is right or wrong? Terlalu banyak site-site yang seperti essay mill ni. Watchdog issue guidance to help institution address pernicious cheating through the use of site for written to order papers. Even boleh order. Dia bagi tajuk, okay, bayar, ada substitution. And UK University in plagiarism epidemic has almost 50,000 students caught cheating over the last 3 years. Especially during the COVID ni, banyak sangat online session, banyak online assignment. Kita pun face the same thing. Online examination, terlalu banyak kes-kes cheating. And dalam independent news, dia kata student from outside of the EU is said to be the biggest offender as the University of Kent take the top spot. University Kent jadi champion lah kan, paling banyak sekali caught cheating. Tapi dia ada dua isu sini. Satu is caught cheating. Sometimes kita pun dalam kita punya academic world, tu tadi go back to whistleblower lah, pensyarah, lecturer, when we become invigilator for the exam. Kadang-kadang pensyarah ada, it happened to me in front of my eyes. I was in the team. Ada some of us refuse to make a report. Dia kata, tak apalah sikit lah, nanti panjang cerita lah, all this and that, we have to go through trial. But actually it's our responsibility. Our responsibility. Kalau ada cases-cases yang related to student cheating, we have to report them. And some kata, this it's okay. Actually dalam Islamic values, everything that we do here, we are accountable for it. we have to have a sense of ownership. If we think this is the just thing to be, it's just thing with being served, kalau kita lepas kat sini, kat akhirat kita still kena jawab dekat lah. Alright. Okay, so next one, what is considered as breaches of academic integrity? Breaches of academic integrity ada banyak lah in the line of considered as academic integrity. One of them, of course, lah cheating. Cheating, the cheating. What is considered as cheating in academic integrity? And one of the big, strong word nowadays, the trending bribery. What is bribery? In academic, ni berlaku banyak, and some of the cases that we know of, jangan rasa kita tak tahu, we know. While I was in PPS, so many cases like this. Tapi just a matter of time lah. For those yang biasa buat tu, you have to be, I think better you stop it lah. Sebab it's within our radar. It's a matter of time. Misrepresentation, conspiracy, fabrication, pollution, duplicate submission, academic misconduct, improper computer calculator use, improper online teleweb, blended course use, disruptive behavior, plagiarism. So these are the challenges dalam era digitalization, IR 4.0, so on. Terlalu banyak site yang become a loophole for those who want to breach academic integrity. It also include cheating, act of deception, student misrepresent, misleading, demonstrate he or she has mastered information on academic exercise, in reality which he or she has not mastered, including giving, receiving unauthorized help in academic exercise. Banyaklah cara, copying foreign student, collaborating without authority, using course textbook, other material not authorized, using unauthorized material, resubmission. Kadang-kadang student ni sometimes they tend to forget, ini human, they tend to forget. They think that we don't have mechanism to detect. Like, most obvious as a lecturer, what happened to us? What do you think? Kalau student kita satu kelas ada 30 orang, hantar assignment semua sama. What do you think? Okay, so ada some ni lah daripada kita punya colleague. In terms of cheating, is it worth to report? Go through all the trial. Can we conclude? What can we conclude from the trial? Do we have academic integrity policy for postgraduate in UTeM? If we do, where can we access it? Actually, the integrity is part of the academic punya postgraduate punya guideline lah. Ada dalam tu, ada section misconduct. Tapi it's not in detail lah. That's why this courses is being designed. Selepas MQA keluarkan 2021 punya guideline, we need to have this on a periodic punya courses. Maksudnya kita kena, we have conducted this I think last year. Now maybe every semester we need to have this, just as a reminder to us, and in fact to some of our students maybe, as how to we uphold the academic integrity. And then kalau kita tengok from survey, kita ada banyak survey. Survey from David Vanguard, Jason Stephen, over 3,600 student in New England area. New England, you all tahu kan? New England kalau dekat US is the north east side of England and north east side of the US, basically starting from Rhode Island all the way sampai New York to New England. They found that 95% of students admitted to cheating in the past year. Ini survey, survey maksudnya voluntary lah. Dia hantar surat, dia hantar survey, 3,600 students participated, 95% dia admit, dia mengaku, dia kata oh memang dia cheating. In addition, 50% of these students, the same student, they agree or strongly agree it is morally wrong to cheat. Dia tahu benda tu salah, they know it's morally wrong, yet they still do it. Okay. And Stevenson High School newspaper, The Spectator, surveyed 2,000 plus students in March and found that 80% of their students had cheated in the one way or another. Ada banyak cara. New York Times. And also survey from Maccabi, as compared to graduate and undergraduate students, 17,000 respondents from graduate students, 70% cheated, admitted cheating on tests, and 40% cheating on written assignment. And for undergraduate students, 71,000 participated, also the same percentage. So then we ask ourselves, what is happening to our academic world now? Everybody admitted. I think masa during our university time also, in one form or another, sama ada kita sendiri cheated atau kita nampak kawan-kawan kita cheat. And sometimes lepas cheated tu balik dekat hostel, balik kat rumah, can bragging pula, oh I cheated and I got A. But it come back to our root lah. Sometimes we have there are some loophole and we are given a chance to, kita ada the opportunity to cheat. It's up to us. Ini dalam in Islam dipanggil iman, konsep iman. It's a virtual punya barrier between ourselves, whether we want to commit or not. Jadi come back to us lah. We have to embrace ourselves. Check back what have we done wrong. If we consistently break those barriers, then check something is not right within us. Okay. And to the worst situation, when we think that nothing wrong by doing that, that is very dangerous. Itu kena check balik kita punya iman. Kalau kita rasa kita buat salah pun tak rasa salah. Itu is one of the most dangerous punya situation. Plagiarism, ini biasa. Plagiarism is the inclusion of someone else's work, word, idea or data as our own work. 1 out of 3 high school students admitted they use the internet to plagiarize. Ini one of the biggest challenge nowadays. With the digital era, internet on your fingertips. 2010 report card, and I think American youth, everybody admitted they have cheated. Survey of 24,000 students over 70 high school. Don McAbee found that 64% students admitted on cheating on tests, 58% on plagiarism, 95% said they participated in some form of cheating, whether it was a test, plagiarism, or copying homework. So it's like that's why I said it's like trending. It's like kalau you never done it, maybe for their generation, or you never cheat, or you ni macam you lose something. It's like a trending thing. It's like something that everybody do. But the problem is everybody is doing the wrong thing and you enjoy doing it. Something is not right. Survey over 63,000 US undergraduate, 9,000 graduate students over the course of 3 years from 2002-2005 conducted by Don McAbee, Rockefeller University. 36% undergraduate admit paraphrasing, 24% graduate student self-report doing the same, 38%. Percentage is everywhere. So academic dishonesty, the two key issues is one, unauthorized practices. They become a culture, macam semua orang buat and never being punished. And they have no sometimes they have proud, okay, they have done it. Improper use of other person work. And this is the culture that we need to, in academic world, we need to resolve this issue. It's our each individual in academic to resolve this issue. Sebab kalau kita biarkan, what will happen to the world nowadays? That's why nowadays kita talk about kenapa kita ada this kind of politician. Sorry, I'm not into politics. Just talking. Maybe they have done something throughout their university life, and there's nothing wrong about that. It's like people nowadays say, if you are doing something wrong, nobody will say anything about it. Nobody say anything about it, and sometimes they are proud of doing it. It's like politicians, they also cheated all the time. They talk here in front of the newspaper, and behind the reporter, journalist, they're doing something else. Immediately. This is quite common, but it's our individual responsibility to make sure this doesn't continue in our culture, in our community. Recent misconduct that affect integrity, of course, taking shortcut, cheating, beautification of images, one of the issue. Lack of appropriate control, composite images, outliers, image manipulation. This happens surrounding us. Whether we notice it or not, it's happening. And falsification, fabrication, plagiarism. There are some of our students, when we ask to perform certain experiment, they actually not doing it. For whatever various reason, maybe the equipment is not functioning, but they just plot the graph. And you can actually check. Possible red flag. Red flag is basically, how do you trigger? Usable data are only generated when they are pressing deadline. Let's say you give one semester to your master student, PhD student, to perform this experiment. They're not reporting anything to you. Suddenly, before the progress report uploading, within 1 or 2 days, suddenly it reproduce, this is the result. Then you can say when the deadline is coming, or suddenly all the experiment is done. Experiments are completed faster than usual. You know that by design, if you are designing the experiment, it might take more than few months to complete. All of a sudden, student giving data that are too good to be true, finding that can never be replicated by others in the lab. So these are some of the flags. Triggers something is not right. And other possible flag, raw data cannot be produced when requested. Let's say you ask the student, okay, where is the raw data? So if somebody just show you the graph, and something is trigger your mind, something is not right. And research material and protocol are kept hidden. Of course, when you do result, it's in chapter result. Before you can trust the result, you need to understand the research methodology. You need to be clear of the research methodology. How, step by step, how this experiment is being performed. First take this, how do you prepare a sample? When you trust all the methodology, then you can trust the result. But if the material protocol are hidden, are not clear, suddenly you get a very good result. Something is not right somewhere. And this is also a hint for you if you become an examiner for other university or for internal. These are also some flag you can trigger. If something too good to be true, without a proper methodology, something is not right. It could be misconduct, could be manipulation of fabrication of data. Work is mostly done when no one else is around. It happened to me. I'm in automotive. One student in UTeM, they say they are doing this. I asked them the specific equipment to perform that test. Where did you do this? They say in the lab. I asked the supervisor, I asked the staff, the faculty member and the UTeM. They say they don't have such equipment in the lab. And when that question, right, when the response from faculty member is like that, the students say, the test is done in Iran. Because they know during the thesis examination, you have to just trust their word. But I asked them for the raw data. Where exactly in Iran the test is being done? Why you are doing it in Iran while you are enrolling in UTeM? So those are the things that trigger to, one lead to another. And finally, it's proven that the student never performed the experiment. Okay. So, okay, next one, cause of misconduct. Why this happen? Why there's a lot of misconduct? Maybe this is at personal level, at interpersonal level, institutional level, research community level. Bob is falsifying data. I was also involved in one project with MPOB, with one university. I will not disclose the name of the university. They're saying, oh, they're getting much good result, excellent result. However, there are 6 universities participating in the project in MPOB, producing biodiesel testing. 5 other universities are reporting A, while this university are reporting B. So it's a quick red flag. Quickly, even the MPOB, the organizer, also know something is not right with this data. And then all of a sudden, when the particular staff kind of start in explaining how they got the result, and everybody else questioning the result, the staff actually quit the university. This has happened recently. Last 2 weeks ago, I went to MPOB to present our finding. Our finding aligned with the rest 5 university, but one university say the researcher actually quit and went to Australia, getting another job. So it's really bad, Bob Lab is under pressure to publish, of course. Especially this happened, unfortunately, it happened to a lot of expatriate staff when they are under pressure, because to chase over certain KPI, if without that particular KPI, their tenure as a staff, as professor will not be renewed. So they start fabricating some data. And it happened to a lot of our research university. And in fact, if we know some of our cases, KPT also awarded university reward. KPT awarded is the highest number of publication in journal. Suddenly we trace that most of the data are fabricated. Then KPT, withdraw again back the reward. So it's a bit alarming to the committee. The research committee reinforced the pressure to publish or perish. Of course, we are under pressure to publish or perish, but we have to do it honestly. Through experimental, not due to certain pressure. All of a sudden, end of the year, before December, 7-8 journal come out, out of nowhere, out of the blue. Why is it important? Why is academic integrity important? First, of course, ourselves, safeguard your reputation. Your reputation also represent your department reputation, your university reputation, even your country reputation. To be trustworthy, reliable, professional, honest, and fair. To provide value to your degree. Of course, for those who are chasing, chasing certain degree, they want to reflect to what university, employability, positive influence. But now it become a culture. I think it's quite alarming recently. If we all aware, a lot of sorry to say, politicians want a degree, they want a PhD, just for political mileage. It's a bit alarming, and when they have some means of getting certain thing done in unethical manner, so it's a bit alarming. Offer peace of mind, doing the right and acting consistently, contribute to well-being of society. Of course, nowadays bila dekat close to the PRU, if possible, all candidates want to put out a banner saying they are candidate with a PhD here, become a political punya material. But in reality, education is for peace of mind. It's personal achievement, but not something to be publicly, mistreated. And this also sometimes lead to integrity issue. We should be aware that what knowledge that we have should contribute to the well-being of society. The responsibility of the accountability of the knowledge. The knowledge comes with responsibility. We cannot simply say, oh, we have a PhD, but we don't want to do anything about it. We just want to sit back and relax. There are some researchers, I was in the study leave committee last time. Some of the teacher, when we ask, they say, "Oh, I'm too tired. I've done this study overseas, very harsh environment. My sensei is very like Hitler, you know. But it's time to sit back and relax after I got my PhD." So we have to start questioning ourselves. The knowledge that we get is basically we are accountable of that knowledge. How much we have to contribute based on the knowledge to the society. This is our responsibility. Okay. And how can we practice academic research and integrity? Okay. So there was some saying, an ounce of prevention is worth more than a pound of cure. Prevention is better than cure, of course. The research community safeguards scientific integrity. It has to start from institution, researcher, funding agency, reviewer, whistleblower, government regulators or agency. And everybody have to play our own role to make sure that the research community is safeguarded in terms of scientific integrity. The role of education in upholding integrity of ISM University, they have some standard. In Australia, they have integrity standard project. In university, they have so many policy. But however, I think one of our colleague also mentioned, I think the other lacking is we have so many policy, but not well publicized. I think this is another thing I realized in the recent audit. People talk about how people want to know about this integrity issue, policies, but it's being publicized maybe perhaps in hidden somewhere. It's like a treasure hunt. You want to find that integrity policy, you have to open a website, UTeM, search here, multi-layer, and maybe this is one area that we realized recently need to be publicized publicly. Maybe in the every faculty need to play our role to make sure that everybody aware of the policy that we have. There's no point of having a policy, but people don't know about it, you know. Okay. And teaching and learning approaches for academic integrity. This is according to Morris 2016. We need to enhance what are the role that we should play. Enhance pedagogy, educational support, developing academic integrity policy. I think the policy is there, but it's too bad that not many people are aware of it. And the worst case is only the administrative know about the policy. The rest of our staff doesn't know about it. So there's, I think it's a bit lacking. I think for starting from now on, from time to time, we need to start educating, tell our friends, maybe put the policy in notice board. The problem is people don't look at notice board anymore because the generations have changed. We put in various websites, put in multiple platforms. And the other thing is, it's a matter of needs, you know. If people are looking for it, they want to know about the policy. But if people ignore everything that the university have established, I think it's too bad. Promoting academic integrity in seminar, promoting, supporting student academic writing development. I think recently many faculty organized writing seminar. I think yesterday FKM also have one writing seminar called from reputable examiners and researcher from Sarawak University, give a talk how to write properly in thesis, how to uphold the academic integrity. Sometimes people are writing, I think, like the technique of writing also contribute to academic integrity. Some students during the viva, too bad in the viva, when the examiner asks them, why are you writing like this? This is exactly what is stated in the thesis or in the journal. They don't have a proper skill of writing or citing other people's work. They think is how do you write literature review? Literature review is basically is like copy and paste from other people's journal and put everything in their thesis. So the technique also need to be educated to our student. Academic writing development, utilizing formative opportunity. This is one of the area, if I notice during my study, my university put writing, journal writing as one of the mandatory course. But in term we have research methodology and we have project management. Actually over time I probably propose this as part of the mandatory courses for all our research students. They need to be able to learn properly how to write. In fact, in my university last time, if you fail that journal writing, and the journal writing, you will only pass that if the journal has been submitted, accepted, and reviewed, and you corrected until it's published. Then only you get the result. But the constraint with us here, when you enroll first semester, second semester, you want to quickly close that subject. But in the UK, I enrolled in the first semester. I only passed the journal writing courses, I think towards my third year when the paper actually being published. So maybe it's a slightly different culture from here into other. Maybe we should find some ways how to promote this to our students. Utilizing formative opportunity for students to practice feedback, guidance, employing authentic assessment practice, preventing academic dishonesty. What we need to state expectation in your syllabus, explain the rule of research, remind students of penalty and honor policies, state clearly what is permitted and what is not permitted in your classes or your assignment. The topic should be very specific. Actually, when they are engaged into postgraduate study, most of them they don't have structured. So they learn on their own. If the supervisor are teaching them bit by bit, then that's how they learn it. Conference with students in class essay or paper explanation. Beware and aware of online resources. How to avoid plagiarism for educators. This is one way we can educate our student. When the student submit work for credit, include the product word. The source must be acknowledged. Okay. Expectation may be different. Placing one name on work submitted for credit. Students define originality of work. Identify by appropriate acknowledgement. On written assignment, if verbatim statement are included, the statement must be included with quotation mark or set off. This is technique. I think a lot of this is being written in thesis guideline. Detecting plagiarism. This is also considered as red flag. How do you detect plagiarism? You know your student capability. If the writing style is above from that, then you know if something is wrong. Suddenly the English become perfect. Something is not right. Their unique linguistic giveaway, spelling which is totally awkward, then or jump in the structure, or formatting, suddenly gray text. Reference, of course we have tools, but this is a quick way, material that reference to additional material, they aren't there. You see a reference, but you look at the material, there's nothing to do with the thesis. Absence of citation, detecting paper mill. Nowadays there are over 100, maybe 100 essay mail website, for example like termpaper.com, I mean address. Okay, when you talk about tools, of course in the digital era, they can easily duplicate the thing, and we also have a lot of tools to help us to detect plagiarism. Of course, we're familiar with Tamaldin. They have duplicate checker, plagium, copy leak, plag scan, Paperator, plag tracer, plagiarisma, QText, plagiarisma checker, plagiarism hunt. Okay, there are some to name a few. Avoiding plagiarism for student or researcher. Always acknowledge the contribution of other in your work. How do we acknowledge? There are many ways to acknowledge. Provide a citation when in doubt. There are many ways. Identify the citation source. Always choose verbatim text in quotation mark with accompanying citation. Cite the primary source of information, not the secondary or tertiary. Okay, so these are some of the way to avoid ghost authorship. We are aware of what is this. And supervisor ethic, role and responsibility of supervisor and co-supervisor in terms of ethical issue. Appointment of supervisor should be in the field suitable to the study. Workload suitability according to the position. Selection of title. should be the balanced interest of faculty, supervisor with the student, not only one way. One of this is a joke. Grad student, I only written one journal article this year. I need to improve. But for professor, they're talking, I only been author on 16 journal article. I need a better grad student and postgrad. So, see, this is, it might be a joke, but sometimes this is really happening in our society. And in detail, role and responsibility of supervisor and co-supervisor and the student. I think I won't read through all that. I just read the keywords. One of those have to be professional. The supervisor and the candidate have to be professional at all time. They have to be committed, have to be available. This is also important. Some people think, oh, I have, they are proud, oh, I have 10 PhD students. But all the PhD students are not available, they also not available. So it's a problem. Be consistent and clear. Be time aware. This is also important. Be willing to receive feedback. Sometimes between the supervisor and the student, there should be a two-way communication. Be willing to give feedback. Not there are some supervisor when the student say, oh, "What do you think about this?" Oh, it's okay. Okay, everything. Okay, until to the end when the student submit a final draft of thesis and they just sign the thesis without checking inside. But be aware of the feedback on supervision, which can be helpful to the student. Open to feedback. Sometimes it's a cultural thing. Sometimes our student, they are not open to feedback. When you give feedback, they become stressful. But we have to be, I mean, that's why when we give feedback, we have to think of constructive feedback. Don't just tell what is wrong, this is not right, but also put some discussion. How do you overcome that issue with your student? Okay? Be aware of stressor. Be aware that as a supervisor, you are a role model to your PhD student. And should set a good example in terms of stress management. This is also important. Sometimes most of the supervisor think of, especially when you have too many students, you don't have time, you just give some session, then leave it. You never ask back whether how the perception of student, whether they are able to capture all the discussion item. Be future oriented. Be aware that all the students may need stimulation to think about their career. Sometimes they need motivation. We need to become, not only as a supervisor, we also need to become a mentor. So ethic during supervision, we need to proper time allocation for student. Proper, I mean suitable office hour, normal. Not after hour. Or you come after 8 o'clock or midnight. Oh, you should come and see me at the Mama store after 2 o'clock, after I finish watching football. So this is also ethic. Some supervisor think you have to be socialized, but you're not aware of the situation, the time. Does not discriminate between students with respect to races, religion, or anything. Do not burden students with irrelevant things. You ask student, oh, you have to pay this journal fees. You have to, there are cases, I mean, supervisor, unethical. We ask the student, oh, you book my Grab, book my flight ticket. I need to go here and there, and ask the student to become their personal secretary. It's also unethical. Ask the student to do night shift consultancy. Of course, when you have a lot of consultancy work, your student is focusing on the consultancy, not their study. And this is also happened to us. A lot of cases like this being reported. So I mean, while I was in PPS, we try to become a good listener. We listen to all these issues reported by the student. Of course, they will want to make a formal report, because to protect the relationship between them and the supervisor, and we also don't want to escalate further discussion. But however, it's happening. Some doing business, some doing MLM, selling insurance, selling books, part-time tuition, tourist guide, covering classes, the most classic one, covering classes, supervisor going on holiday. So these are all, we have to reflect ourselves, what have we done. Honest and professional attitude in assessing student progress. And also share some finding from UTeM audit 2018. Some of the findings says that the supervisor appointed are not the expert in the field of supervision. That's one issue. Issue number two is the missing minimum resident time. Some PhD student in UTeM completed within 2 years and chasing after GOT and chasing after some special award for convocation. However, this does not comply with MQA 2015 and 2021, where you need to be full-time PhD with minimum 3 years. Okay, so there are some supervisory amendment in the regulation. The supervisor only allowed within semester 1 and 2 or the first year. However, due to retire or both supervisor quit, contract ended, migrate, and some exception has been given. However, there are cases of unethical request from the student. They want to change the supervisor due to the reason, for example, my supervisor cannot speak Arabic, so they want to change. My supervisor cannot speak Mandarin. My supervisor English are worse than me. These are true cases. And the worst cases we found where the student keep on changing supervisor every semester with various reasons. One of the worst case, I think 6 to 7 times changing supervisor. So you can imagine 6 to 7 times changing supervisor, it could probably involve 6 to 7 semester. So when do you expect to finish if you keep on changing supervisor? There are people like this, of course. They are students, other people are wrong. It's the same, human. Some supervisors think, oh, the students are wrong. I'm always right, the student is always wrong. But there are also students think, the supervisor is all wrong, I'm only right. So it's a two-way thing. As administrator, while in PPS, we become a listener. We listen to both sides and not to judge anything. But this is really happening. And joint supervision, this is a mentoring effort actually. We want co-supervisor to be involved with the supervisory process, but we also avoid spouse as supervisor and co-supervisor, the same husband wife supervising one student, or one supervisor supervising husband wife. This is considered all conflict of interest, supervising student husband and wife. And then external field supervisor appointed only when necessary. No conflict of interest related to students. Some students say, oh, I want to appoint somebody in some university in some other country. Why? Because he's my uncle. So those are ethical issue we have to deal with. And we deal, I think PPS deal with this on a daily basis, sometimes monthly basis. And it happens time to time. This is a limit for main supervisor. So senior lecturer 5, associate professor 10, professor 15. And from MDPS, according to MQA, all universities have set this limit. We are like not far different from some other university, 5, 10 and 15. But we are considered like 15%. If you compare to UPM, 7, 12, 15, UTHM 3, 5. Then we ask ourselves, okay, maybe this is what happen if you are exceeding the limit of supervision. I keep talking for the past 1 hour. Anybody want to share? What do you think happen if you exceed the limit? Anyone? It's like classroom when you're teaching, everybody's sleeping. Anybody want to share? No one. Everybody here just to listen. They want to share. What do we think happen if we exceed the limit? Limit 5, 10, 11, 15. One of our colleagues say maybe good for the supervisor resume, okay, but not good for the student. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Okay, let me share. Some academic thing, they need to be given special award. I'm telling you the real thing happening recently. In one occasion, some of engagement, we asked some researchers, some academic staff, why do you exceed this? They say, oh, because I'm like Superman. All students like me. They want, due to their superiority, I can get many students. Okay. But I told the staff, actually, if you think about highway, our highway system, highway have speed limit, sometimes 80, sometimes 90, sometimes 110. Then we think, why there is a speed limit? Also 80, 90, 110, depending on your type of vehicle. It's the same like us. If you are a professor, you can get, okay, maximum 15. If you are driving a Porsche, okay, you can drive 110. But if you are driving a cargo truck, your limit is only 80. Okay, why there's a limit? If you exceed speed limit, of course, you may get a ticket, someone. But it's the regulator, the enforcement agency, they want to avoid accident, incomplete journey, stress, disruption, disaster. These are what is the same like PPS. PPS are exceeding, putting a limit, and this is according to MQA standard. They say all university need to set a limit according to what the Senate think is the best to the university. So that's why we exceed together with some other university, so that we ensure that the student complete their journey of education. But if you exceed, we have seen it. Many people who exceed the limit, they are the top. You have to understand one thing. In PPS, there are so many dashboard. We have radar. Some of the radar we monitor who are the champion of having terminated student, incomplete journey. we can see all that. And what's the reason to that? Of course, if you have more student, more of your student will be, I mean, unsupervised, not getting a proper guidance. And this occurrence also have been highlighted by MQA panel when they see all the, of course, for panel it's quite easy. They want to see the extreme cases who are having the highest number of student supervision in UTeM, who are having the lowest, or for the lowest you can see, and what that lead to, and goes back to the enforcement. It's the same, right? If the police or JPJ, the enforcement agency, if they don't stop all these people, the truck, lorry, tanker running at 110 or 100, 200 kilometer an hour, what happened? You just just let them, because they are, the driver are expert enough to maneuver. Rather than giving them a ticket, we give them a special award as requested, because they can drive a Petronas tanker with 200 kilometer an hour. However, if involved with accident, disaster, maybe some explosion, then who are going to be blamed? Okay, so these are some of the rationale behind all the limit. Of course, if you have too many students, if you put all the student dedicated time in your slot, in your timetable, you can see how far you can attend to individual. You have to be fair to every student. Let's say you allocated one student, maybe half an hour. Okay, then you put half an hour slot in your timetable, then you will see how much can you really commit. Okay, and the other ethic is publication. The requirement for graduation for PhD 2 scopus, master 1 scopus, this also depend on the year of registration. The rule is being enforced starting for those who enroll 2013 onwards. For those below that or doctor engineering is slightly different requirement. Okay, but priority to the student producing publication for their graduation purpose, not for the promotion of the supervisor. There's ethic, publication. Ethical approval, this is another thing. A lot of our students go for, when they perform data collection involving human sample or real data, most of the students miss this ethical approval until being asked, during the Viva session, the examiner asks, where is your ethical approval? They just want to see it as part of the SOP. And then we say, okay, this is refer to PPS website. This is the website. I'm not sure you can see this or not. Okay, sorry. you can refer to this link. This ethical approval application. Sorry, let me stop this and share my screen. Screen 2. Okay. All right. This is from the website. Not sure you can see this or not. Let me 1 second. Okay, can you see this? Can everyone see this? Okay.
Boleh, Prof.
Ethical approval application. You can download this form. We download, and there the policy has been established, but so sad every time the student being asked during Viva, they say, "Oh, UTeM, in UTeM we don't have this ethical approval." It's very bad, very sometimes a bit annoying for PPS. We have to look at the examination. What? How do you manage the faculty at the university without ethical approval? This is the ethical approval. To put all, you have to request. And some students say, I never know about this. And the supervisor also, no, UTeM we don't use this ethical approval. Confidently saying that. And the examiner just staring at PPS organizer. Especially if when the PPS dean is chairing the session. Yeah, how do you make sure that we put this in PPS website but nobody know about it? It's there. Right? Continue with this. Avoid predatory journal. There are cases, so many cases. Organize underground journal using society. You also, for those who involved with this, I think please stop doing this. It's also within our radar. A lot of people know about this, and some of this thing is being reported by some other university. Some professor from other university reported it to PBS. Okay, student publish journal in non-related field of the study for other incentive purpose. For example, Zamalah. This also happen. We have to explain to the examiner. Say, okay, actually this student is a Zamalah candidate. By requirement, they need to publish. And most of the examiners say, yeah, it's okay. They need to publish, but they need to publish in their own research area, not other. And when asked the student, say, oh, this title is not my title, but it's my colleague title. We are in the same research group. But this is still considered as ethical publication. They publish due to the fact they want to continue the Zamalah, not for their study. And they put all the publication with their name in the thesis. But when examiner check, they say, all these 12 journal, nothing to do with your study. Okay, right? Recycle publication. Those written in 90 to 100% can be recycled. Accepted versus published journal. And floating cases. They are floating cases. We put a checklist. The student need to publish first before they can go for Viva. However, there are cases that the supervisor challenged it. Oh, the student is finishing the hitting the ceiling for their duration. They need to go for Viva even though the journal is not published. So what happened was, finally the student complete the Viva, but we want to go to Senate for approval. There are no published journal. And we are waiting. They say, oh, accepted. Some of the journal accepted 2 years ago, but until today not being published. So this is the issue. We have floating cases where the hardbound is completed in PPS, but we cannot get Senate approval due to the fact that the journal is accepted only, but not being published. And some, when we communicate to the journal publisher, the editor, they say, oh, I just take over this role, and the other editor just quit the function, and so it become worse and worse and worse, and dead end for everybody. For us, for the university, we want to have as many postgraduate students attending the convo as possible, because that is our obligation to make sure they complete and we award them. But if you cannot award it, you can imagine the frustration, not only for me, to the rest of PPS crew staff. We are putting more effort than the student trying to, we even call the student, can you submit to another journal? We are encouraging. I think these are the thing that I think the role of supervisor, they should ensure all this. But up to the end, when we check with supervisor, and supervisor said they also give up. The student don't want to listen. So we have to play that role. Now PPS become supervisor. We call the student. Why don't you submit one journal here and this? So this is not resolved. I think we need to educate our researcher. Okay, 10 common type of supervisor. They are the clone type, the cheap labor. The clone basically you replicate all research from other people. Cheap labor, use all your students to do all your work, like your online module, perform your class. And the ghost supervisor, the ghost supervisor who are not there. It's like you're talking to a ghost. Seen rarely, never respond email. And this is what happened when the student come to PPS, say we want to change this supervisor because they show evidence. This is my first email, this is my second email, this is my third email. See, no response. This is my personal call. In fact, one student tried to call supervisor in front of us in the office. I say, why don't you call now? They call. Immediately the supervisor just hang up the phone. So, this is a culture. This is our credibility. The charm fishing is a relationship. Some of the students become babysitter. Collateral damage, taking on teaching, marking, administrative function. Okay, so and combatant fighter, intellectual torment, so on. It also relates to leadership style. If we experience certain leadership that we do in our day-to-day job, sometimes we also get carried away with how we supervise our students. They are visionary supervisor, they are directional. If you are the director, it doesn't mean that you can direct everything. You cannot direct all your students. You have to do this, that. Yeah, of course you are director by post. But student, you cannot treat them as if they need to be directed all the time. And some are strategic. If you do this happens. Managing, motivational. This is also important. Motivational. Student life. Later I'll show you the life of a student. We were student before. We know the motivational is going up and down. Okay. Shipbuilding, team building, entrepreneurial, re-engineering, bridge building. So the correct manner of ethic, conflict of interest. So time to time, as a administrator, we always become a referee. To all students, supervisor problem. Sometimes we have to call separate session between the student and the supervisor. And conflict of interest may be in the form of relative, neighbors, friend, colleague, research group, COE, alumni. Some university in UTeM we did not enforce this, but in some other university they don't allow if you are staff in UTeM, they are not allowed to do your study in the same university. You have to go outside because to avoid conflict of interest. It can be in the form of positive or negative way. I'll give you some example. If you have your colleague as a staff also doing your PhD here or master, with the colleague, of course, your colleague will become the RPD panel or progress report panel or the Viva chairman, the Viva examination panel. So there are times that they feel hesitate to tell you the truth, whether your research are achieving a minimum standard that it should be. That is so they kind of like, okay, just consider is it acceptable, okay, everything in the thesis examination report they put all okay, 16 section okay, 2 words okay, but in reality during the examination being grilled by the external examiner, say, how do you say this is okay, dude? So it's a bit, because as a colleague, of course, we have some we kind of reserve to give our real opinion. because we scared that we might, harm the emotion of our colleague or friend. So those are some of the issue or ethic of your interest. Okay, for thesis examination ethic, of course, appointment of examiner, internal, external, suitability in the field, expertise, experience, no family, friend, former supervisor, relationship with the candidate or the student. This also need to be emphasized time to time, because there are cases that family members, you are supervising your nephew, for example, your worst case, if your sibling can be detected because your surname will be the same, but some maybe different father have different family name, but your sibling, step brothers, sister, this is our considered relationship. Okay, conflict of interest between examiner with the faculty, university. The role of examiner to assess the thesis fairly, the keyword, the fairly, professionally, complete the assessment within stipulated time. This is also very important. Some people think time is not a concern. You know what happened in PPS when we are organizing, setting up the Viva session? There are too many external, especially, or internal sometimes. They are sending, let's say the Viva is tomorrow morning. They will send the report tomorrow morning as well. So it's very difficult for organizer to actually, because they are printing out the report for the chairman to view, look at a macro view, to propose time, to propose appropriate or relevant improvement, to maintain confidentiality of the report and result. This is the role of examiner. Ensure correction to be made by student, reviewed. It's another issue, another culture. When they have gone through the Viva, they say they have major or minor correction, have to be endorsed by external or internal. Time to time, some examiner just endorse the result. In fact, when we send the endorsement of the correction, it comes with an attachment, but they just send the sign one page without the attachment, without the. It shows that the correction being endorsed without reviewing the correction, because we forgot. Sometimes our organizer forgot to send the correction, the corrected item, but the examiner just signed it. Say, okay, all correction are done. So that show integrity. Then we can, it's a perception. As an organizer, we can tell some examiner, internal or external, just simply sign anything that you send without looking at the corrected item properly. Okay, that's one scenario. And the other scenario, examiner review and not happy with that and ask, this student need to go for revival. That's another issue. We have to understand that when the Viva session take place, the result, the final result is being declared to the student. Let's say they have to go for final question. We cannot change that. No examiner can change that, because that is firm. That's why the decision need to be made consensusly and wisely among all the teacher examination panel. Okay, some other issue or unethical case study example that we found in UTeM in some of the MQA audit. Field of expertise. The student is in technology management, but the examiner expertise in civil engineering. We come to know that during the session when the examiner actually declare. I remember that time I was the chairman. I say, okay, can you comment on this? The examiner actually openly declare, actually I cannot comment on that particular part because my background is civil engineering. It was a shock to me. How can you accept this is Viva examination? If I were the examiner, I will just reject. I say they propose your name. I say I cannot examine this thesis because this is not my field expertise. It's better that you declare upfront. But this examiner accepted that invitation just for say maybe he got too many free time, or maybe they think of, I can come to Melaka for short cuti Malaysia, paid for by them, but during the examination say I'm not really the expert. It was a surprise. It's quite big surprise to me, but that's happened. When you deal with human, so many things happen. PhD field in student in airport security, human resource in airport security, but the field is human resource. But the external examiner in computer security, IT security, this is another thing. That's why when choosing the examiner is one of the important process from the faculty, it start from the supervisor, goes to the faculty committee, and go to JKTSPS, endorsed by the sub senate committee, then only we appoint. But there were occasion that, of course there are occasion that examiner actually kindly refuse because this is not my field of expertise. I remember during my tenure in TPS, I think 2 occasions the examiner really honestly say this is not my field. One of them actually called me saying, this your appointment you might mislead because this might have 2 integrated hybrid field, but my field is not really this, but it's not A plus B, it's simply B plus C. Of course, we make honest mistake, human, from the proposal. But some other cases, student are proposing. Student come to PPS, oh, I want to propose this examiner, this examiner. Not the supervisor, just the student. So we kind of like puzzle why this is happening. Of course, you can discuss, or the student can discuss with supervisor who you want to appoint. But when it comes to the faculty committee, they have to decide. First, establishing any conflict of interest, and then ensure there's no relationship between student or anything. Okay, and some other things, student is being used to publish journal. This is also by examiner. Okay, appointment of examiner, factor to be considered, of course, qualified expert of international standing in their discipline, be external to the university. This is recently we have our staff being seconded in some other university, then the staff, the student claim, okay, this is external examiner, but in reality the staff is also a UTeM staff, only seconded to some university, they are not considered external. We have to understand this clearly. This is very fundamental. Normally, we associate with university or research institution have demonstrated current research expertise relevant to the thesis, free conflict of interest to other examiner, candidate, supervisor, or other university, according to the Code of Conduct or University Conflict of Interest guideline, have been advised and agreed to examine thesis on confidential basis. Then people ask, what does international standing mean? Defined as publication or grant of international standing, international collaboration, international research experience. This is what international standing means. So thesis examination panel, the chairman act as facilitator, not examiner, just to make sure the session is running without any disruption. Look after the welfare of students. This is also the function of chairman. Provide transparent and fair reporting. To get very careful. Nowadays, we already established do and don'ts, or a basic guideline, one sheet of paper, what examiner should do during the session. Ask for this, check, verify. Okay. And examiner, internal, external, do not make personal comment. Do not ask irrelevant question or personal question. Provide constructive feedback. So normally as a chairman, sometimes when I keep hearing, this is not correct, this is not right, from the external or internal examiner, I will try to stop not really stop, just to interrupt a bit. Ask for verification from the examiner. What do you mean this is not correct? Which of the method do you think is correct? Because they keep saying 1, 2, 3. I just trigger my mind when they keep saying this is wrong. There are people like that. There are people who they are very good in finding what is incorrect. Oh, this is not right, this is not right. Then you have to stop them and say, okay, what is considered correct in this field of study? Then they will start elaborate. Okay. So unethical, some of the things that we found, chairman become the thesis examiner. This is happening over time to time. That's why nowadays we monitor everything. We monitor the examiner, the chairman, how the behavior. Yesterday we talk about human behavior. Now we are monitoring the behavior of examiner. If the examiner, there are occasion where external examiner come back to us saying, why you have a chairman, the examiner not given ample time to ask question because they are keeping asking the question. This is one of the reason in PPM we set a new rule. The chairman cannot come from the same faculty because they have tendency to become the examiner. This is the reason. If you are aware, if some of you are familiar, and some of the academy, of course, they question the reason why PPS are changing. If you are come from FKP, your chairman cannot be from FKP to avoid conflict of interest. Because tendency of human, when you know the subject matter, you have tendency to ask question more what you want to know. But it's not your responsibility at that time because you are appointed as chairman. That's why this is happening now. We appoint cross-field, totally alien to you. Internal examiner sometimes override external examiner decision for revival. This is another issue. We have to understand the hierarchy. In the thesis examination panel, the external examiner having higher hierarchy as compared to internal. Another occasion, examiner asks the question, they ask question 1, 2, 3, but the student cannot answer, then they become the student. They answer all the question which they posed earlier and not allowing for student to respond. So we just look at the student look puzzled all the time. And as a chairman, if this happen during your session, you need to stop. But you have to use your wisdom how to stop. Not saying, oh, this is wrong. Don't say that. Use your wisdom. It happened to me one time, and I felt okay. Maybe perhaps Prof, can you give some some time for student to think about your question and answer it rather than you keep elaborating. It's like becoming it's like a lecture session. They ask question, they answer. They ask question, they answer. The student is just like a student in a class. Listen and wait for answer. And some students, they are also smart in a way, taking advantage of the situation. When this happens, they ask the examiner again. Examiner ask that question, they ask again, they put back the question to the examiner. Why do you think this happened? And the examiner respond. So, if you are experienced examiner, you will notice this, occasion, you notice this trick from the student. Some students say, oh, this examiner is very good. They keep sharing. They want to share more. They ask question, why do you think this happened? Oh, yeah. What do you, in your personal opinion, what do you think? Or sometimes they put rephrase the question. Based on your expertise in this field, why do you think? The student become examiner. But don't get trapped into this situation because the session is basically to test the fundamental understanding for the student and gear them up to the level meeting the standard. Okay, not a matter of just like having a chat, discussion, something like that. We want to test them from fundamental. In a research university, you can notice this one thing. They will start asking the question from the very basic, fundamental, and the question difficulty level or Bloom taxonomy kind of increase from level 1, 2, 3, 4, and until the student can actually engage to their thinking process. Some other occasion, external examiner meet and discuss with internal examiner before the viva and change the decision. One thing is they did that, which is wrong. If PPS don't know about it, we probably won't say anything about it. But then they maybe unintentionally during the session say, oh, actually we have discussed it. They maybe just come out from their mouth. They kind of accidentally admitted that, oh, we have agreed this when we meet sometime. And everybody was stunned, why this is happening? And I put up my comments and this shouldn't be happening. Everything that you want to discuss should be in this session, not before that. Okay. And supervisor meet and having engagement with the examiner, having dinner, ikan bakar, or from Malaysia, Melaka, famous asam pedas. They have asam pedas earlier. They celebrated earlier before the viva. This is also ethical issue. Okay, in the thesis, what do PhD look for?
Sorry, Prof. Okay.
Yeah. Masih dah habis?
No. We're already right in the middle of the session, like 10:30 right now. Can we have
Okay.
like a mini breaks for now? If you can, right?
Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah. So maybe like a 10 minutes breaks before we can continue.
Okay. In the meantime, I'll try to go through some of the question if I have some of them. Okay,
Okay.
all right.
All
We
right.
take
All
a
right.
break until
Until
okay.
10:30,
Got it.
3 right
Okay,
now. We get whenever you're ready. All right.
okay, thank you.
All right.
Alright, kat mana tadi ya? Lupa lah.
This slide ni.
Okay, slide ni. Alright.
Betul slide.
Okay. What do PhD examiner look for? Okay. Okay, ni just selingan lah ni. Alright. Thesis committee. Okay, ni also some joke lah. Dalam joke ni dia kata you ada your professor, your supervisor lah. The guru ni maksudnya external lah. The adversary, bitter rivalry, professor maybe ni chairman, straw woman, nice guy, no opinion. Assistant professor selalu, these are the people who become your assistant chairman lah. Still doesn't believe just few months ago they were on the side like you. Pretend to be a dog. Okay, so in the joke dalam case ni, none of them actually read your entire thesis. Basically, they just make judgment based timbang hati lah dia, in a way. In reality, actually they read. Of course, some one of the things that we noticed that kita appointed, especially for PhD examiner, we appoint the second examiner. But when we tell them they are not invited to the session, they are only just to judge your thesis alone without attending the viva, then they have tendency to actually write just okay for every section in the report. So I think this a bit, I keep telling my, team in PBS, maybe we shouldn't tell them that they are not going to attend. Some other university, I think like UMP, UTeM, they just wait, they give you a deadline to submit the report. Then based on the report, they will make judgment who will be the best based on the comment, the pre-viva comment that they give. Then only they will call. They say, oh, okay, you are not selected. We only accept your report. Your report will be the assistant chairman will read your report, or anything that you concern will be viewed during the viva session. It happened to me many occasions. That means you can tell that your report, as compared to the other examiner report, is not comprehensive enough, or maybe some of your judgment, or maybe some university they judge based on, if you keep giving minor correction, they also say, oh, you are too lenient in a way. But if you, some university may judge you, or you giving revival too many occasions, also they might judge you differently. But however it is, I think with respect to integrity and ethics, we should tell the truth, no matter how. Sometimes the truth hurt, but you just tell the truth. That's why it's okay. If they don't want to invite you, it's fine. At least you already tell the truth about where the thesis stand. Okay. All right. So some of the recent issue, I think not quite recent, final QC in PPS. This is quality check in PPS. When you have 8 thesis, 7 out of 8 submitted for viva. You imagine if 8 theses being submitted on a monthly basis, there are so many theses being submitted to PPS for quality check to be endorsed to Senate. But out of 8, 7 found too many quality issue. And when this happened, this is also ethical issue when the faculty or the supervisor, sometimes they become angry they become upset with PPS, saying why PPS don't want to submit to, okay. Because it's our responsibility. During the previous TNC, Dato' Razali, they put PPS accountable for all the thesis submitted for JKTS approval. If not in standard, they don't allow us to bring. So that's why we have to actually go through in detail sometimes. I'll show you some of the quality issue. In this one, I've showed some time ago. But when it comes to supervisor, sometimes supervisor say this is not quality. Just let the Viva go through, then let the examiner judge. But there are some standards, some limit actually. You have to pass before you actually being allowed to attend for the Viva. For example, this some example. In the thesis say no need. Example like this. This is real thesis. And then you have offset of not only first there's no spacing in between the table of content, and 3.3 you don't even know where table 3.3 3.4 is all offset. And then what we do is randomly we check, let's say 3.8 is process setting up in certain page, we open that page if it's the same heading or not. Okay, incomplete missing, this is quite normal, the citation technique, and then missing the year. And this is actually a declaration. Yeah, I was sometimes quite surprised. You can imagine, declaration is the section where you put the title, and finally the supervisor will sign at the bottom, declaration. If they sign, this example, actually I don't want to show who are signing them. But we actually make a template so that we put a program in Word, choose item, basically what they type in the front page, to avoid mismatch. Sometimes people type in the front page is totally different title. So to avoid that, we put a programming so that whatever you write in the front, you just, there should be a radio button down here. You click choose item, they will choose the title, and then you will see, you have the same exact title as what is written in the front page. But by doing that, some students, they don't know what this is, because we put a training how to use this template. They just write their title but leave this choose an item, and then they tell us, oh, this choose an item cannot be removed. Actually it's a programming thing, and they something like this, and then in declaration they just sign it, and they put a small note, this choose item cannot be deleted. So this is a mismatch. That's why when we organize template training, it's good that let the student attend so they understand why this is happening. And typically table split, this one when you playing with a margin and you try to set, sometimes the table is too long, but now only the for example here, only the heading is in this page 190, the rest of the table is in page 191. So I think maybe not aware of that because you're just looking browse through. But of course, in terms of ethical, the supervisor and the student should have a look at this in detail rather than PPS code is, and become very awkward. And then the technique like this table with two options, this is another thing you have to make up your mind. You have one table, on top of the table say table 4.3 cross tabulation rating, and at the bottom say figure 4.2 histogram chart. We also not sure what is this is a table or is it a figure. You have to make up your mind. And then another, it come immediately after the heading. After heading, straight away come with the table. Normally you should have a brief description. This is kind of the basic, but this kind of thing we cannot go in detail. The supervisor responsibility. You need to sit down with student and go through. We understand that this is what happened. If you have too many students, or I have too many thesis to review, then this is the reason we have that limit, so that you give ample time to each individual student to sit down with them. So I don't know how other people do it. I'm a bit, I honestly, like my style, I'm a bit slow in reviewing, but I want my student to sit next to me, just show to me. I use a second screen, okay, you show me, and then I ask why this is like this. It might take a longer time to review word by word, page by page. But some examiners say, or some supervisors say, I'm too busy, I have a lot of things to do. But you leave it to the student, it's your responsibility. But at the end, this is what happened. But the student never learn if you don't tell it right to their face. If you just scribble down, give it to them, sometimes they don't understand what is it, what's wrong with this. Until we explain to them, one table have two heading, two description. Okay. Empty space. This one also we blank out the name. Those who sign, the accountable person, the supervisor. bertanggungjawab untuk D, ada ayat pun tak habis, D ada ayat lagi sebenarnya, tergantung dekat sini, hanging. Okay, tapi fakulti nampak sikit, sorry lah fakulti lah. And then error book, ni biasa lah, ini when you have ini programming issue lah, tapi kena check lah whatever it is, error book not refund banyak, even my student pun banyak macam ni, incomplete statement banyak. That's why don't think that PPS, ada some supervisors say just submit je to PPS, they will not see this, they macam try and error. You try and error, and some people say ada some people come right to my face say, you kat PPS you tak ada kerja, you baca thesis semua orang. I think say, but it come back to accountability and responsibility, because when this thing go to Senate, all the blame will be given to PPS. How do you check this? Because some of these theses will be randomly checked in Senate, in BKT SPS, and TNCA will be very upset. Of course, he over time to time give a warning to PPS. Cannot allow this to happen. This is written back. Of course, we know this is our responsibility at that time. But now PPS responsibility to make sure that everything is in order. But it's based on trust. We trust the supervisors. We trust. Some supervisors say, we want to be express. I mean, to be approved faster. I said, there's no express. Everybody follow the queue. And when it's come to your student will go. But if you betray this trust, sometimes some of the supervisors promise me, say, I will check everything is in order. But when this happen, no choice, we have to return back. Sometimes it's already hardbound, very confidently hardbound, but normally for JKTFS, we don't encourage you to hardbound, because there's error, you have to reopen, incur more cost, 25 ringgit to reopen, redo the hardbound. That's why we ask for the softbound first. And this one hardbound, printed on the right side of the page, of course. Out of 200 pages, one page it's supposed to be facing this side, but it's facing the other side. This one you actually can blame the shop who are doing the hardbound, because sometimes when they rearrange, they mistakenly put the other way around. But if you found this earlier, then you can claim them to redo free of charge. But if you come one day later, say after 1 week we found it, we give it to you, so they say the shop say we rearranged it wrong, so you have to pay for the silly mistake like this, 25 ringgit. Very simple. Repeated citation, caption, to caption, floating table incomplete. I go faster on this. Table non-existent. Some say page, certain page. When we check, and that particular page, there's no table. Error bookmark, this one a lot. And this one title, Doctor Philosophy. Our PhD is Doctor Philosophy, no need mechanical or electrical, just Doctor Philosophy. And cut and paste equation, supposed to use Microsoft equation. Seen in figure below, but there's no figure below. This one is also unique. We found one. It's supposed to close all the name. Master of Science, but they have dual supervisor and co-supervisor approval. The template is only for supervisor, but this one is involved co-supervisor involvement is good, but you add one page, this is totally out of that. I think the spirit is good. We appreciate the spirit of co-supervisor involving in checking, but you put this is violate the template. And this one, list of table different on specific page. This one also sometimes people don't aware. We put a random sample, let's say in the table heading, in the list of tables say temperature of sample, but when we check page 66, go figure 3.11, it says sample of temperature. We understand, of course you can say it's the same thing, but the word have to be exactly the same. Here in cylinder pressure, but here totally different, test fuel. Okay, so these are small matter, but it look it goes back to your honesty on checking the thing. It's responsibility of the supervisor. It's not finished yet until you get the Senate approval letter. Spelling conclusion. I don't know, maybe Nigerian spell like this, I don't know. And English PM, masukkan tunggal, I don't know. Maybe this is a special term. But when we highlighted by faculty also admit this is wrong. and then flowchart, reference format. I go quickly. Consistency, and this one is quite new subsection. Straight away, one section to another section, no description. Jump straight away. And then this one title, see the same thing. Choose an item is there. But then development, everything is capital letter. Okay. This one, this is a bit awkward. The student name, she's writing the name, her own name, Mardia. We check in the system. Her name is spelled M-A-R, but she put here M-A-D. I put a note here. Maybe you better check your IC if you forgot your name. it's I don't know. These are 1001 kind of finding that we found. Sometimes make laugh a bit, but just at least if the student name is wrong, at least the supervisor can detect. But student and supervisor declare everything is correct without noticing. And we are third party. We notice, oh, your name is wrong. It's different from your IC. All right. Technical specialist also quickly, no need effect hydrogen, graph. This one is a bit technical. The line, when you put like this, you cannot differentiate any of this line. This one is a bit technical. It's an engine with electric generator. This whole set is an electric generator. What are you talking about? You're talking about engine with electric generator. This is the engine is electric generator. Then and photographic view. You learn AutoCAD. There's only isometric, right side view, top view, isometric view, and you see photographic view. Everything is photographic. You take photo. And this one is a bit technical. The actual equipment is bomb calorimeter, but they only take the tiny part inside of this and say head of the bomb. So when you show picture, of course you have to make sure it's presentable. You know the whole equipment, not this. People might mislead this one. This is actually a bomb. It might be actually a bomb, head of the bomb. All right, I continue back with this. Okay, my brain. Just data to share. I think this might be increasing number. It come back to integrity, honesty, and our ethics. If we just let go our student, this is what will happen. They just give up, demotivate by themselves, just quit, die on the natural course. See, because they are actually students who actually they start with they tangguh pengajian, postpone, and then when they come back to us, say this is hopeless doing study here in UTeM. So when they come to me saying that, I think it's part of our responsibility. But you cannot, the most you can give excuses around your supervisor probably busy, this and that. But come back to reputation, and that's why I talk about reputation of university. When this happen to one student, word of mouth might come to another student. They might tell a different thing based on their bad experience in UTeM. There are some students, I asked some of my master students, why don't you do PhD here? He say, no, I want to do PhD, but not here. Clearly, he say, stress out to me. Because I don't like the environment in UTeM. He said, and then I try to dig further. Do you care to elaborate further? What do you mean environment in UTeM? Say, I don't want to say anything. I reserve to say anything about UTeM. He said, I know something is terribly wrong with his experience in UTeM. That's why he said that. But he doesn't want to say it. But he clearly make it clear to me, I want to do PhD, but definitely not here. Ever, he said. So something really bad is happening. Okay, and he also said, I will not recommend anyone to come. You imagine that one person you say to me, I cannot sleep at night. Imagine if you see 1, 2 students. It come back to the integrity, come back to ethics. Their bad experience become generalized, and when it comes to the public, it's quite damaging to UTeM reputation. This is just to share supervisor-student relation from 2 different perspectives that I can see of. building trust, establish network visibility. I remember the British or the UK culture during the first year, they always say that you are my student. Second year, you start gaining you learn something, you are my colleague. They start to ask you what your opinion. Third year, you are my buddy. This really happened to me. Third year, only my supervisor, let's go Mark Spencer, have some coffee. I say, why he never asked me for coffee during first year? Maybe this is really happening without them telling it. And fourth year onward, they are expert area. They even asked me to help one of his colleague student from Belfast University. Say, can you help one of my colleague? They want to set up this thing. I just assist through email. They show some picture. I say this is how you configure it. How that's happening after fourth year. Telling you. The American culture is a structured PhD program. If you are aware, those who did PhD in US, first year you choose your supervisor, you discuss the topic, you finalize the subject area, and then you will discuss with your supervisor what are the subject to be taken. For example, let's say you do mechatronic. Okay, mechatronic, you need to do some mechanical subject, electronic subject, some IT programming. Then they discuss together, agreed with the student. Okay, you take this semester, semester one you take this, semester two this, and then you start publish this now. Second year concurrent research. Second year only your research will start to design and execute. Also discussion with supervisor. This is based I did my master in the US and I did my PhD in the UK. I think this, even though it's a structured, but it's a consensus. A lot of things is being discussed with you and getting you to be agreed. You need to agree. Can we agree with this? Of course, the supervisor can dictate. Say, okay, you just take this, take A, B, C, D. No question asked. They can do that. But my supervisor said, okay, can we discuss? Oh, this will help you to. He tried to explain to me every single subject that I'm supposed to take and what does the subject do to my research. So that is based on my experience. I don't know about others. I will assume that this is how the structured PhD work. Okay. So if you want to do programming, you better take this, and you better take statistics because statistics will tell you how to differentiate, to just analyze Six Sigma in your analysis. Everything being explained to me, every single subject. Sometimes I question why I have to take assembly language because this is electronic subject, very difficult for me. No, I say you need to understand fundamental mechatronics. You need this. And finally, I agree. Then can we agree? He actually said that. Can we agree that you need to do the subject? Eventually, you buy in. You buy in from, of course, from the beginning. I say, my motive today, I go to my supervisor. He asked me to take 5 subjects. I want to only take 3 subjects. I don't want to take anything other than mechanical. But then he make me to agree. It's through like a diplomatic way. Agree, because you say later in your analysis you cannot do this because you don't have this knowledge on programming. Okay, but the British culture is a bit unique. I think those who explore the British, you choose supervisor topic, attend compulsory course like in UTeM. It's a method, but we have writing. UTeM is research project management. Second year you do have to do MPhil to PhD conversion. Third year, during MPhil to PhD, the supervisor asks you to do whatever you want to do. Some people make a joke, say in the British, you are like a herd of cows, or or goat in the field, or go eat your own food, choose your own grass. And then second year say, oh, how many grass have you eat? Then third year you say, okay, how you manage to differentiate between this grass to another grass? And the final year say, okay, are you ready for final thesis? It's a bit two culture differences. However, I asked about this. I asked with my supervisor. I asked him why you allow, because I observe when first year student come in, he kind of like, okay, do whatever you want to do. And after second year only, he give more attention. And then when he explained to me, I kind of like, oh, I can agree to that concept. It's like they want to build up innovative creativity on your own from the beginning. Okay, your own role, but they keep on checking on you, but not as when you go to third year, they will check on the frequency will be more, We'll go on a weekly basis, and then after 2 days, scrutinize everything. But during the first year, you are like free. Do this once a month, report to him, and then it's okay. Carry on, carry on. What you want to do. So these are the learning experience. Sometimes we explore this, and but I remember one thing. My supervisor in the UK said they want to develop thinking process. They want you to really think what have you done, what is the impact of your action, and how do you want to do next action. They really give you time, ample time to really sit down and think about it. And then they say, eventually you become more matured. You know what to do when you stuck to some challenging task or obstacle. This is our data. The concern, pay attention on the GOT for PhD and master. This is 2020. I think this year also we face pretty much the same. Our master, especially master by top course. I think PhD now we have a lot of supervisors who can manage to get PhD GOT, but not GOT alone. Of course, it's a holistic student development. But for master GOT, none in 2020. 2021, I think quite numbers so that we can count. But for this coming 2022, for this coming November, I remember there's only one GOT for master. So this is I put this as a big challenge. But I told the dean and the team in PPS, we need to do something about this. And PPS cannot do it alone. I mean, with the help of faculty, we need to look after also our master student. A lot of our master students cannot get. We assume that these are the earliest to get GOT, but at the end, some of the master students, some of them even graduated after 5 years, worse than PhD student. So something is wrong somewhere in our system. We need to look after. Goes back to how honest we supervise, our ample time given to the students, supervision, guidance, and so on, especially master student. Just how grad student just like kindergarten. If you compare, they can do all the napping acceptable during first year. Constant adult supervision, there is constant adult supervision. Okay, we keep on, looking at that. Get cookies for lunch when we have a session. We give them something to eat, or they will be happy with our student. We have organized some workshop seminar. They will come because of the food, not because of the seminar. Most of the common activity cut and paste. Just there's no grade. They have to play well with others. Don't fight with each other or with your supervisor. And crying for mommy is normal. Maybe they do that at home. We don't know. And okay, this is another thing. Maybe we need to pay attention a bit. Grad student work output. This is the life, the typical life. I think if we reflect ourselves in terms of motivation for Monday, this one week example. On Monday, the student fantasize how much work will get done this week. Maybe say Monday I will get one graph. Tuesday, one experiment completed. Wednesday, one draft. Thursday, one paper. That's very ambitious, very good. And end of Monday on the top, there's a Peru Soccer League result posted on internet. Okay, then they start. Okay, put this aside a bit. We need to catch up with the game with the Peru. So Tuesday, no output, and advisor drop in unexpectedly. Or when the supervisor come in, suddenly motivation go back up to the mid of Tuesday. And then end of the day, you clean out all email, everything go down because just wasting time on the computer. That's why they come spread the rumors about conference in Cancun. Oh, Mexico, we need to go. Okay, motivation go back up. And then after Wednesday, because no support from supervisor, they want to go to Cancun to produce a paper. No support. Then end of Wednesday, consider quitting PhD. Motivation go down again. And then on Thursday, there's a must-see TV. Maybe something related to the career, or the motivation go back up. And because there's a weekly meeting with supervisor. And then after the weekly meeting, of course, why you say, this is not correct, this is wrong, this right, everything wrong. All your ego crush all the way down. Drop Thursday. And Friday, of course, in American culture, Friday is happy hour. Happy hour, so motivation not too long. Everything will go down, they get drunk and so on. And at the weekend, every weekend they will feel guilty over. The whole week is ruined. None of the thing is being done effectively. This is some of the thing that actually I've discussed with our former dean, Professor Razali Ayo, with some professor from Ahern, Eramayati, Sheffield and Monash. We benchmark all their study, the system, how to produce GOT strategy, and we separated in 2 years, year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4. So these are some of the checkpoint that we propose. Of course, this one I presented this in executive meeting in UTeM. And I pass over to all the dean to make sure that everybody can, of course, as a tool, so that you can check back with your student. Maybe you can use this if this is useful. So as a checkpoint, first checkpoint, after first year, at least 25% of the work is done. I think I give credit to Prof. Razali Ayub because he put a lot of thinking on this and give me this scribble paper talking about how monitoring is supposed to be done. And after 25%, this is where proposal defense will take place. At least by that time, at least some article can be submitted, accepted or published based on literature review, progress one, plan, literature method. And then second year, any revise of training plan based on proposal defense RPD, because you get comment from the panel. Panel might say this is okay to proceed or this is need some revise, so you need to revise. So after second year, all the thing is being commented, revise is done, then you can proceed progressively, proceed with experiment. This is in an ideal condition. And end of second year, data collection should be completed about 60%. So that's SEM 4, and you can ready to publish. Once you have data collection, you can start publish second article. So first article, second article, first year, second year, you already complete for PhD requirement, 2 scopus journal. And then year 3, 75%, SEM 3 is 5 and 6. Perform some data analysis and data evaluation, validation. So this should be completed third year. So, and end of third year should be ready to submit the thesis and do mock viva with supervisor and ready for viva. And ideally, fourth year graduation can happen. And this is under ideal condition. Of course, it can be used as a guideline. At least to, I think it's good for me. I give this to my student. Say, okay, this is what you're going to embrace. Just be ready for it. Rather than sometimes the student, if you talk to them verbally, they just take it during that day. Like the motivation talk just now. Meet advisor, okay, they are okay. SEM 3 target to do this. But at the end of the day, we have to have this checklist and check back with the student. Where have they achieved? And the viva process, also get the student familiar with the viva process. Normally the thesis are evaluated by examiner. Explain to student. I explain to my student, okay, when they evaluate individually, they will give pre-viva result. And then they will send the report and we call for the viva session. They have panel discussion during the viva. This is what happened. Tell them immediately what, get them prepared to face the viva. Before you actually do the momo, tell them about the process. And tell them, sometimes it's good to support them. That's why some university nowadays, they put as a requirement for the supervisor to attend the viva, just as a moral supporter. Not saying anything, just sit there. Our presence will give some motivation, boost motivation to them. And we also do our own job, maybe take some note, what is needed for the student correction, at least. We're not allowed to say anything. Of course, tell the student. Some student, if they don't aware during my early days of my master student, they even argue with me after the viva. Say, oh, why, doctor, why do you don't say something during the viva just to defend me? I told them, actually, I'm not supposed to say anything. Then only they were, oh, your supervisor cannot say anything. I thought you can say something. At least you say something, you become very strong, is it? No, supervisor not supposed to say anything. You just, the most you can do sit there and smile. But of course, ethical thing, when you talk about ethical, there are occasions, like nowadays you are facing online viva. There are supervisors who actually sit there sending text messages to students to answer. This is happening. We have a video proof of that. but we don't want to make it further because we put some warning to the student. Now you put your phone aside, and this is becoming very challenging, especially with the online Viva session. The online Viva session now they have like news reader, TV3 reporter reading, and they have teleprompter, somebody typing for them, they just read through, but you can see it from their, if they're wearing glasses, you can see the reflection from the eyes, then you can tell. And to be honest with you, in PPS there were 2 occasions we stopped the student Viva due to that reason, because they already signed declaration. If we found any attempt of cheating during the online Viva session, the chairman or the panel have the obligation to stop the Viva, and the student will fail the session. Actually, this happened to, I remember one time, I was the chairman, one PhD, 2 PhD student, one examiner from UMP, I forgot the professor, what's his name. He actually reminded the panel, can you stop the Viva session? Because I heard some voice of a lady responding to my question. And then we check again and we replay the recording. When we replay, we analyze the recording. That's a good thing with the student think they can beat the system. But with online system, we also have recording. The recording also become a live proof to us. The recording show that 11 occasion the question being asked, the student is just wandering around with the eyeball looking for answer, and we heard a lady voice answering one by one all the question, and he repeating the question, repeating the answer. So that become I think one of the and at least we have done it. I mean, then the word of mouth, he will tell the rest of his colleague in, of course, a Middle East student in Iraq. If you want to do this, okay, you take the risk of. We tell them you already signed this declaration, and of course he challenged. He go through all Iraq embassy, but we show the evidence. We tell the embassy we have given them ample time. We have recorded this thing. We don't want to disclose the record to them. I mean, but we have put a paperwork saying that, and this has been presented in the sub-senate committee. All the senate members agree that this is a genuine case of cheating. Okay. So as a conclusion, we are coming to the end. I have compiled quite quite number of conclusion slide. Who is a good PhD supervisor? Those who have good grasp of your research, knowledgeable in the field, well connected, either in government, industry, or academia. I mean, well referred to. Someone you are comfortable working with, can give you advice, guidance, or become motivator to the topic. Make time for you. Respond timely manner, give good feedback on your writing, inspire and motivate you. Okay. And as a conclusion, as a supervisor, of course, it's our responsibility to assist student identifying topic from the beginning, monitor progress time, guide the student, assist interpreting output, make them aware their responsibility and your expectation, consult and advise, promising master or PhD for the student, but don't make empty promises with all the effort. But the student, they need to be, their role, they need to choose topic with the help of supervisor, with the supervisor expertise. Also this is one of the things that occurs to us. A lot of students change topic because they say, oh, we don't have resources here in UTeM, we want to do it in UTeM, so we have to appoint field supervisor. Actually, the fundamental issue is like this. I keep telling our colleague, if you want to propose a topic, make sure that you have at least more than 50% of the resources. If you want to choose a topic which you have no expertise, no resources, no machine, no material, what's the point you doing it here? Might as well, I advise, oh, you want to do this aerospace thing? Okay, go to UPM. They have all the aerospace lab and so on. That's more, practical of it, to be really, objective about it. But if you want to do this, but you don't have the expert, the first question, fundamental, is very there. Is supervisor, if you are the supervisor, but you declare yourself not the expert, I don't think the topic should be there in the first place. why in the first place you give a topic which you are not the expert? What is the intention of that? The question and the thing keep on coming time to time to PKTSPS. The first fundamental, you want to offer a topic, and some supervisor also using the student to write a proposal for FRGS. They have some idea or ask the student to write. At least I think before it's quite fair. If you imagine you are the student, it's quite fair. It's better that you have at least something resources in place before you actually offering. If you're not ready, don't offer it. Get thing rolling first. Get some resources, at least some basic. You imagine if you go to you get a student, you recruit somewhere, and the student come in, and you show them a lab. Okay, this is my lab, empty space. You imagine how damaging to the student that is, And this is the occasion when the student come. Of course, they have no other place to go. They will come to PBS. At the end of the day, I say I'm here to listen to your thing. Say, I've been offered this, promised this and that. Suddenly I come to the lab, it's empty space. And I say, oh, you have to help me writing proposal to get grant from the government. I think you're not ready to offer the topic yet at that time of time. Okay. And some supervisors say, this is my previous PhD topic. I want the student to duplicate. And then you have to you have to understand the ethic and integrity of that. Just now the clone supervisor. To work systematically, student well prepared for meeting. This is another issue. If you tell a student, my way of judging the student, I say 8 o'clock in the morning because 8:30 I have meeting. I keep asking. If one time they come 8:45, say you promise me 8 o'clock. Second time, and then the student say, first time there's an accident somewhere in the route. Second time my car broke down. Third time I say, you give me 3 excuses already. Next meeting I want you to meet. I start playing around with the time a bit. 8 o'clock is quite fine. It's office hour. Okay, 8:30. And then the students start doing that. I say, okay, next week we meet 7:30. So you say traffic is busy at 8 o'clock because you start your journey at 7. So 7:30 you have to start your journey 6:30. Come here. Then only they start. It's give back, but of course we have to be very considerate. Not doing that all the time. Just as a lesson to teach the student, but not doing it all the time. But sometimes that's why when it goes to 3rd year, 4th year, I say you are my colleague, my buddy. Just what time is convenient for you to come. But from the beginning, don't give too much. Of course, our culture is slightly different. If you give too much of a room for to become a close friend, they step in your head in the first in the beginning, and they say, okay, well, I'm busy here, I'm busy. They are more busy than you. I'm busy Monday, Tuesday, I'm only free Saturday. Can you? There are some supervisors, some students tell the supervisors, you have to meet me in KL in this hotel. The supervisor come to me say, what happened is a student demanded that I go to KL to meet him for the meeting. Say, it's up to you. Use your wisdom how to deal with this kind of student. Because you say, I'm busy, I have a meeting here, I want you to meet me. If you occasionally attend to that request, it's fine. But don't make it until to the extent that you have to follow their instruction. After all, you have to realize that who are the supervisors here? Are you the supervisor? You're supposed to mentor them, or they become your supervisor? The other way around. Okay, how to promote integrity? I've got this material from some other university. 5 ways to supervisor promote research integrity as a principal investigator, coordinator, advisor, mentor. Role that we can play in our unique position to cultivate exceptional research practice among the next generation of researchers. Of course, we deal with next generation of people, next generation of students, next generation of researchers that we have to deal with. Okay, first one, we have to always be available and approachable. Approachable in the sense that nowadays, probably in the past, approachable, they can just knock to your door and come visit you. Maybe nowadays, approachable, they send you WhatsApp in the middle of the night. Due to the digital era, they say, oh, I'm busy. But you can entertain. I also sometimes entertain my student. Oh, you are busy here, we need to discuss. We have a WebEx session just to discuss our thing. because save you time to travel here. Just highlight what are the issue, what are the things that we can assist you. I just happen to have one two doctor engineering student from Citera, very senior manager at Citera. So I cannot come all the way from Kulin just to meet you. Say, okay, no one. Every week we have this WebEx session. We talk about this. At the end of the day, they are comfortable with that. With it. They say, okay, never mind. We have even correction also being done through WebEx. They show me page by page. These things are changing. We need to sometimes adapt to the situation as well. Review raw data. You are responsible for the integrity of your team data. So when the data is presented to you, the student presented the data, you need to really scrutinize to ensure that this data is coming from the student work, not from somebody else. Before it's being scrutinized by the examiner, by the panel, RPD, by other of your colleague, you need to scrutinize first from the student. And we need to communicate, prevent misunderstanding by making sure everyone is on the same page. This is always happening. A lot of cases that come being referred to PPS is due to miscommunication. The student say A, supervisor say B, and they got into argument, conflict. Because all of a sudden when we say, oh, it's much better they come to, we kind of like detect this miscommunication somewhere. Then we tell, you should say it like this. The student, actually your supervisor are saying this. Then finally, okay, there are a few occasions also. They got along with each other. So, at least we are, happy with everybody is moving on with their career, so on. Now they become close friends. In the past, they always, fighting, arguing with each other. Other thing is avoid making assumption about anyone's skill or knowledge. This is another thing. Some of us we make prejudgment. They are PhD student. They're supposed to be matured enough. They should know this. That is all assumption. Sometimes we have to understand that thing. The beginning of the course. I say as a human, we tend to be forgetful. Sometimes they forgot. I say this is a basic static analysis. You cannot do. You already passed in the first. Maybe their first year was like 20 years ago. Don't make that assumption. Say, okay, maybe you need to look. Give them some guidance. Say, okay, maybe you look after this. This is reference book or journal. You read through this, understand this. Okay. And then research integrity. Be prepared in case of you suspect of this is also. Sometimes, occasionally, we need to have a negative thinking about our student as well. Sometimes, but not all the time. We have to be careful. A balance of that. Sometimes you just trigger. Are you sure this one you do on your own, or you take it from some other student PSM result? Based on the the face reaction, then the student actually doing. No, I'm really doing okay. And just to check on you, to make sure you are okay, not doing any misconduct. But we promote this all the time to our students. Maintaining integrity in grant application, of course, classification, fabrication, grant application also. The same thing can be applied. How committed are you in upholding academic integrity as educator? This is the question you ask yourself rather than other people ask. Are you committed to this as a academician, as a student, as an administrator? Are you somehow committed or moderately or strongly committed? Integrity of research is based on adherence to core value, objectivity, honesty, openness, fairness, accountability, and stewardship. This is all the fundamental principle of that integrity, ethic, integrity, trust. When you practice ethic in education and research, you maintain your academic integrity, gain the trust of your student, colleague, superior, community, fellow researcher, and yourself. Just be yourself. To be honest with you, be yourself. In the beginning, when I first got invitation as examiner for PhD UTeM, I was a bit hesitate in the beginning to fail the student due to the finding that I found. But I think, okay, never mind. If they don't want to invite you in the future, never mind. But just trust my gut. This is not right. Even one time I have to give some statement to Senate in UTeM due to the fact that I failed one Iran student. And because they declared it, actually they call me, say, actually we are in Senate, the chairman of Senate want to listen from your own voice. How do you get this? Because they never send me a soft copy. I said, because I suspected the thesis is not correct. I actually take the thesis, I scan it through our photocopy machine, convert it to PDF, send it to Tamaldin, check. Then only I found that which is actually a copy of that from a university in the UK, which has been successfully awarded. Then it's okay. I remember that time, I forgot, was it Prof Wahid or something like his name, and see on UTeM. Okay. And as a conclusion, as a supervisor, examiner, I think first, sometimes time to time we need to perform self-reflection, reflect ourselves during our study, during master, PhD, our experience. Then we start to recall what don't you like about a supervisor is good in a way, but he does is bad this way. What do you like about your lab staff, your examiner, your viva session? Oh, you're supposed to give me time, this. Whatever you don't like, just don't do it. It's as simple as that. Okay. I decided to be more of a hands-on manager. Move the mouse up, over, more. This is like dictate kind of a leader. And actually, this has been, your students say this has been a long day written all over it. So imagine that. Imagine if you are in the seat of the student. Imagine. Or sometimes we have difficulty. No, I will never be student because I already passed the student life. Maybe it will help you. Imagine, what if the student is your son or your daughter, and another person, it become a supervisor and mistreated your children. Imagine that. Sometimes, because I remember some of my colleagues, I say, one of my colleagues, he like to scold a student until the student cry. If the student cry, you say, oh, I'm still not up to my standard. But when the students are now, see now, he know who I am. But I telling you, imagine one day your children will be in that position, and some other lecturers from some other university of some other planet will do the same, exactly the same, until your son or your children cry in front, begging for mercy. What do you think? You cannot see anything. Maybe that time your children is still too young to go to university, you don't feel anything. But over time, we start to develop this. Because life is a roller coaster. Sometimes you are on top. Of course, some students are very angry with you, or say you did this and that, and then all the thing that you did to. They will remember that. They will remember all the bad things that you do to them. But when it happened to you, then you see, oh, maybe you reflect yourself. What have you done? Just to be fair, after all, of course, you are going to be accountable of every single thing that we do. Okay. Another conclusion based on principle. This is the basic principle: non-maleficent, or avoid doing any harm to the student. Exploitation, abuse of work, person in weaker position. Of course, your student definitely they are in weaker position. Stealing the finding of someone else, bullying, in a way, bullying, academic bullying, role conflict, promote good, placing well-being at risk, deficient supervision, support autonomy, the supervisor being forced into choice in line with supervisor value. I've heard this before. You either choose my way or you go the highway, he said. My way or the highway. But if it happened to you in the past, like some of your previous supervisor, remember, just these are the things that you hate the most. Just don't do it to the other people. It's as simple as that. Restricting research angle without justification, and then building trust, abandoning the supervisor, leaving them without supervision. Treating another person with disrespect. Respect is a strong word. If you respect others, you will gain the respect of other people. Maybe the same person, or fairness, unequal treatment, determining authorship than other of the basis. Yesterday I had a meeting with Dream Age. One of the other students here, actually, that is my former teacher. You can be proud of that. But there are some other occasions that you enter another room, you enter another meeting, you had your former student, but never acknowledge that you are their supervisor or their lecturer. You can imagine that two different scenarios. If they can acknowledge actually that one, and everybody say, oh, how come you never say anything? I say, well, of course I'm proud of my student. Now become a senior manager of a company. And then say, oh, he acknowledged. I'm not asking him to say anything during that session, but he said, hey, actually, that is my lecture. He taught me during my first year, and he's very now become a good friend of mine. He admitted that it become a very countless thing that you achieve in life. Something that you cannot count. Some references. Okay, so that's all from me. Maybe I'll take some question. If there's any. Okay.
Okay, Prof. Alhamdulillah. Thank you, Prof, for the talks. Ribuan terima kasih kepada Prof. Dr. Effendi atas ceramah tadi. Dan sekarang saya mempersilakan kepada floor, saya buka pada floor kepada sesiapa yang ingin memberikan soalan kepada ceramah kita hari ini. Kalau ada soalan boleh unmute mic dan boleh terus bertanya kepada Prof. So kita I open the floor for the questions. Ataupun boleh juga type pada chat box tu ya. Nanti saya boleh bacakan terus ke, ataupun Prof boleh tengok juga pada chat box tu juga. Okay. Kalau ada boleh.
Semua dah expert dah supervision, so dia ada soalan.
Semua hebat-hebat sekarang ni. Sekejap Syafisa.
Tak tahu apa nak tanya. Tak tahu apa nak tanya, just
tak apa, saya start dulu, Prof.
Okay,
Boleh,
silakan.
moderator. Boleh, saya nak tanya sikit pasal about integrity with regard to plagiarism.
Okay.
Right now, if you talk about technology sekarang, Prof, kan, dalam on one side we have Turnitin that detect plagiarisms and on one side lah. On the other side pula, kita ada technology that can create paragraph, create words, syntax from out of nothing. Macam ada AI, macam paraphrasing, copywriter. So macam teknologi ni is like, in a way it's useful to us untuk membantu teknik menulis. But dalam satu lagi menjadikan teknik tu macam fake, macam palsu atau like dibuat-buat. So as a supervision, as a supervisor, postgraduate supervisor, is it really necessary for the supervisor right now to equip themselves for this technology, or just trust their experience? Apa pandangan Prof kat situ?
Okay. Very good question. Actually, it happened to me as well. Some my student, dia kata dia send for proofreading. But if you remember some of the red flag that I showed earlier in the slide, bila the English level is too good to be true, my student is Indonesian, dia punya level of English. Suddenly tulis very bombastic English. Dia kata, mana datang benda ni? Lepas tu you tanya dia, oh actually I send for proofreader. Then it start trigger your question, you proofreader. I say proofreader is okay, but not totally, everything is, kita worry dia bayar services some third party untuk write that particular thing. Ini another thing, sama ada you trust your gut feeling, tapi kalau you baca every single word, probably you can detect. Tapi like you said, as a supervisor sekarang we have no option. The technology is moving too fast.
Correct, yeah.
Tak nak, kita terpaksa at least know juga. Sebenarnya ada tools yang kita boleh tahu, yang boleh detect. Turnitin pun sekarang ada. In fact, the case yang I cerita, I failkan student Iran tu. That student Iran actually beat Turnitin. Sebab
the percentage.
Dia percentage. Dia kan you boleh rephrase kan. Kalau you letak 15%, dia boleh adjust benda tu. Tapi one thing yang dia forgot is, bila dia cakap the case yang saya boleh detect, dia punya thesis sama dengan thesis dekat Brunel, dekat UK.
Okay.
Tapi thesis kat Brunel tu objektifnya ada 6, dia punya ada 4 je. Tapi dia ada objektif ada 4, dan you boleh cross tabulate balik objektif 4. Macam mana you boleh dapat result yang ke-5 dan ke-6? Itu saya cuba pusingkan dia. Tapi dia very smart, dia student very smart, dia tweak sampai examiner lain tak jumpa. Tapi apa yang dia buat rephrasing tu pun quite smart lah. Dia kata macam Ali makan roti, dia cakap Roti dan butter ini dimakan oleh Ali. Ditambah satu
Oh,
benda,
oh.
lepas tu dia replace.
Okay. Alright.
Itu dia beat. Tapi bila
Yes.
come to that objective, yang you dapat result yang you tak pernah declare dalam objektif, itu you dapat result. Lepas tu saya trigger dia, macam mana you dapat result yang number 5 and 6?
Yes, yes.
So you tak buat the experiment. You never
Yeah.
declare objektif. Oh, dia kata yang ni you can think logically, you can extract daripada ni. Lepas tu dia start extract tu, saya trigger. Okay. Kalau you extract, where is your raw data?
Right.
Saya tengok raw data. Dia buat engine testing. Sepatutnya dia ada frekuensi. Okay, 1 second, 2 second, 3 second. Apa jadi pada angin yang masuk?
Okay. Yeah.
Apa jadi pada minyak yang masuk?
Okay.
Tapi bila dia fail, dia nak tulis data. Saya kata bagi you raw data. Dia ambil satu kertas A4, dia nak tulis. Masa tu saya kata, you nak tulis, come on lah, you nak tulis raw data engine test pada A4 paper. Saya punya test data, masa saya run, kalau you run frekuensi 1 Hz, sekejap dalam masa 20 minit penuh hadis 1 gig.
Ya, betul.
Masa tu dia dah lost ni. Saya kata macam mana you boleh nak tulis? You boleh ingat ke every single thing? Ada 20 column by berapa second?
Yes, yes.
Lepas tu dia start kat situ. Masa tu
Okay.
macam kantoi lah. Alright.
So due diligence lah bro. Memang
Yelah, nak tak nak
supervisor
satu
lah.
experience kita, and then kita pun sometimes kita, saya rasa nak tak nak kita kena banyak baca lah. Kita baca.
Okay.
Bila kita baca, kita dapat trace, something is not right
Yeah,
lah, dia punya output ni.
Yes,
Dia
yes.
come back to learning experience yang kita go through ourselves lah.
Okay, okay. Boleh bro. Okay.
Ada satu soalan ni.
Soalan dekat chat box bro.
What is the balance between independent and structured work during PhD? Kita nak explore the option part-time, sometimes opportunity is scarce, GOT and all. Okay. What is my opinion? Okay. Independent and structured work. Okay. I ada dua opinion lah, macam saya cakap tadi lah. Satu, dia ada, my opinion ni, dia akan produce slightly different kind of graduate. Kalau kita letak very structured, kalau kita notice the American, actually the Japanese pun, kalau some of you yang graduate Japan akan notice, dia ada quite similarity to American punya structured punya system. That's why those yang graduate Japanese university, dia structure kan, you ambil ni, you buat ni, you buat eksperimen ni. In fact, some of you, tapi dia bagus in a way, everything is ready. Lab ni ready, buat ni, masukkan resource, dia train A, B, C, D.
Yes.
Jadi dari segi time for GOT, those yang graduate Japan, kalau kita tengok history, historical data dekat KBT pun, yang Japan ni memang kebanyakannya 3 tahun setengah habis. GOT yang excellent. Sebab everything is structured. American pun sama dia ni. Tapi bila goes to yang British ni dia bagi you time supaya you trigger yourself. Jadi masa tu lah. Tu saya cakap ni dekat supervisor saya, kata universiti saya UTeM bagi 3 tahun. Dia kata apa? What kind of nonsense is this? Dia kata. Mana ada orang graduate 3 tahun dekat UK, dia kata. Kalau you nak dia, you pergi tempat lain, dia kata. Macam tu je. Supervisor ni jenis macam hardcore agak lah. Kata.
Okay.
Kalau you dua ni, dia macam nak, saya cakap universiti saya dah panggil surat ni, suruh panggil balik. You don't talk about all this nonsense, dia kata. Kalau you nak 3 tahun, jangan datang UK, dia kata. Strong ni. Kalau dengar dia cakap kat NC, saya rasa dia hantar macam tu je. Saya pun jadi, tersentak jugalah. Dia kata, nak kita terpaksa comply lah dengan kita punya majikan kan.
Betul.
Itu tu yang pandangan yang Dr. Nodiana tanya ni kan. Independent tu lah beza dia. Ada satu output lah yang saya share. Mungkin ini saya punya personal perception Dr. Diana. Bila yang Japanese graduate yang balik dengan ni, ada some lah, bukan kata all lah, ni some of the, masa saya jadi dekan tu saya tengok, saya observe, saya kata mungkin ini trigger, and benda ni saya discuss dengan salah seorang, ada some pengarah GPT dekat KPT, dia pun cakap benda yang sama. Dia kata macam ni, it's good on GOT, dia habis cepat dengan structure, tapi the thinking process yang British cakap 4 tahun ke atas ni, dia build up satu analytical thinking yang menyebabkan they can go beyond.
Okay.
Jadi bila yang ini no offense to those yang graduate Japan, saya cakap ni based on apa saya punya discussion dengan
Okay. Alright.
And dia kata apa, kalau yang Japan ni bila dah balik ni, bila dia balik ke sini to set up dia punya own research area ataupun lab, dia take time. Sebab dulu sensei ni guided dia terlalu, you ada A, B, C, D, E, F. Then you buat research. Very structured. Bila dia balik sini, dia nak ada structure tu, dia perlukan resources. Dia perlukan fund, dia perlukan grant. Bila dia buat grant, tak ada orang nak guide dia macam mana sensei dia guide dulu. Jadi banyak kan adalah some of the Japanese colleague ni, dia pun admit benda tu, dia kata itulah kadang tu yang dia try grant ni tak dapat, saya kata patutnya bincang lah benda ni kan, minta pandangan orang macam mana. Dia rasa macam dulu semua given, dia kata sekarang ni tak ada, banyak sangat parameter yang tak tahu. As compared tu dengan yang British graduate ni, bila dia bagi you explore time, saya reflect, yalah bukan saya kata saya okey ke tak okey, saya just my personal experience lah. Saya pergi UK dulu, supervisor saya kata ni bilik kosong, dia bagi saya fund, dia 90,000 pound untuk beli engine dyno. Saya kata nak beli engine dyno ke? You buatlah search cari. Jadi saya assemble bilik tu daripada kosong jadi 2 lab.
Okay.
Jadi saya assemble engine tu, pasang satu-satu. Tapi it took me 2 years to establish the lab supaya dapat datang.
Yes.
And that is the process. And then supervisor saya cakap apa? Bila saya cakap, saya start lah dengan ni, sensor ni tak function. Dia kata, I'm sorry to, I cannot help you because I'm a chemical engineer. Dia kata. I'm not automotive engineer, I don't know. Saya kata straightforward, dia kata. Saya kata, okay, tak apalah. Jadi, tapi kalau you perlu help, I call Jaguar, you minta tolong daripada engineer dia orang. Jadi, those are the 2 experience yang saya go through, menyebabkan saya rasa macam itulah differences kadang-kadang. Mungkin ini my personal perception. Tapi, yalah, kita pun kadang-kadang, kita kena raikan all these differences sebenarnya.
Okay.
Kita jangan, kata, ni kita buat prejudgment. Tak apa, anything. Bila kita team up, kadang-kadang is good. Kita team up, ada yang ada Japanese experience, ada Australian experience. Jadi kita ada kita top up all the benefit, all the the positive culture yang kita belajar, dan kita share to each other. Okay, hopefully that answer Dr. Diana my question lah. Okay, Dr. Diana.
Okay. Baik, Prof.
Thank you.
Okay. Baik, ada soalan lagi daripada peserta sebelum kita tutup?
Tak ada, semua dah lapar. Dah 12.
Dah 9 ni. Okay. Boleh, Prof. Alright, baik. Okay, dengan itu saya kira tamatlah. Okay, sudah untuk sesi modul 3 untuk kursus ini pada hari ini, pada pagi ini. Semoga apa yang dipelajari dalam modul ini dapat kita hayati dan amalkanlah dalam usaha kita untuk menambah baik tahap kompetensi, kecemerlangan dalam penyeliaan pasca siswazah yang mana kita semua akan lalui sebagai staf akademik lah. Terus sekali lagi pihak CAES dan UTeM ingin mengucapkan setinggi-tinggi terima kasih kepada Prof atas ceramah beliau sebentar tadi. Dan dengan ini kita tutup kursus Postgraduate Supervision Course Series Modul 3 dengan tasbih kifarah dan surah Al-As. Barakallahu fiik.
Terima kasih semua, dan saya minta maaf kalau ada apa yang saya cakap tu yang offended anyone, not my intention, and thank you for attending this course.
Tak apa. Terima kasih, Prof. Okay. So, makluman untuk semua, untuk modul 2 pada petang ni akan bermula jam 2.30. Dan diingatkan juga kepada peserta untuk mengisi bahagian feedback dalam modul portal UTraining sebelum kita bersurai untuk modul pagi ni. Baik, sekian. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih, Prof. Baik, jumpa lagi. Baik.
Baik.